Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and we have a great paranormal show coming up for you. Our main man, Merle, is here from the Paranormal Road Trippers. We are going to be joined by Corinne and Leanne from Beyond the Haunting, and we are in for a great night of ghost stories from right here in the Caribou. Yeah, it's going to be great. You're going to love it. But first, we need to say hello to each and every one of you. Why do we do this? Well, because we can. And it's so much more fun that we can do it because it gets you involved with the show. We have Kitty Caddywhack in the gold medal position. Mel WD-40 not only lubing us up for tonight's show, but also in a silver medal position. Make sure you give yourself a shot of that lube, Mel. It's always good for the ghost. Race fan with a bronze medal tonight. Remember to get your Merling in. Lightwalkers, how you doing? Nice to see you. Necessary Dialogue and Thunderhead. Nice to have you here. Luscious Jewels, it is always a pleasure to have you merling it on up as we speak. K17 Odd, always a pleasure to have you on the Tilt-A-Merle. That's right. And we move on down to Mickey G. How are you tonight? Thank you for coming on in. Frankie B, good to see you. Little Cam on YouTube, so excited for Merle tonight that he literally did a bench press of 585 pounds 27 times. Yeah, his arms are jacked. He's ready for the ghosts. And he hits us up for our first super chat of the night. Thank you, Little Cam, for the super chat. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. Carol Amerio and T-Bone, my man. How you guys doing? Welcome to tonight's show. Merling it on up. As we scroll on down, up next, we have Jennifer Beveridge. Yeah, she's a good 100-miler right there. Thank you for joining us. And, of course, we scroll on down. And we move it on down to Stephanie Kenny Blankenship and Operation Shutdown, merling it up in Pennsylvania. Isn't that nice? That is just perfect. And Mel just can't get enough of the merling, so there he goes again. As we scroll on down, God, you people love the Merle. You love the Merle. Kurt M., what's going on, my friend? Stargazer, nice to see you tonight as we scroll on down and say hello. Next, Operation Shutdown and Jay Trueseeker. Nice to have you both here. And up next, as we scroll on down, and we scroll, it's Lenda, everybody. Lenda O. Lenda O. I'm hardcore over on X, burling it up with Elon right there. Thank you for joining us. And United We Stand. And, oh, here he is. The guy who only comes in the show once a month. The period dot. There he is, merling it up as we speak. Pam Harris, how are you? Paramarv, nice to see you, my friend. He's merling hard as we scroll on down and say hello to Benno in Australia. Just a cute, short Merle right there. Nothing more, nothing less. Just bang, there it is. And Divine Diamond, welcome to SOR Chat as we scroll on down. And up next, who is next? East Coast Turnaround on X, nice to see you. Merle, merling himself in the chat room. And Paula Foss, nice to see you. Hold on. There we go. More Merle love from Jules. Fap Nuts, how you doing? Or should we call you Fap Merle? There you go. Fap Merle is here. Glenn John McEnroe, the pride of Wimbledon. Nice to see you. Aussie Boss Tiger, how you doing? Evan Walters, you're pissing me off that you're actually here. Where the hell have you been hiding? Pissing me off that you're here. Undead Jed Merling it up. Pony Pong, how you doing? Nice to have you here. And Merling in Australia right there. Algaray over on Twitch. What a workout. 4,700 Merle ups in 6 minutes. Bobbert, nice to see you. Hold on. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're going all paranormal with our main man, Merle, and the ladies from Beyond the Haunting, Leanne and Corinne, are here. Ghost stories galore coming on up. We're in roll call on our YouTube side as we say hello to Walter Kochabinski. Jerence Carter is here. And who is next on our list? Bobbert, nice to see you. And we're almost caught up. We are almost caught up here, people. Crystal Cat, nice to see you this evening. Splatter, nice to have you here. And on that note, I'll say hello to the rest of you in the chat room via my fingers when I type them. Super chat is open. And throw those horns up, everybody. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin in the woods, where together, my friends, we own the night. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Caribou Con. Come for the greatest paranormal conference in British Columbia, September 18th through 20th. Go to cariboucon.com to get your VIP tickets today. We're going straight paranormal tonight. Our main man, Merle, is here from the Paranormal Road Trippers, and special guests from Beyond the Haunting, Leanne and Corinne. You may know them from many television series on Ghost, Ghouls, and Goblins. Yeah, we're going to have a great show tonight. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller is here with another creepy story. We're going to follow that up. Grant Baker will be filling in for an ailing Terry Hall as we're going to get into the Bigfoot story. We're going to get into the latest government news of UFOs. It's a weird day for a lot of this. And the best part about it is you get to hear it in hour number 3. So let's start right with it here. Our main man, Merle, is back from the Paranormal Road Trippers. He was just in my area this past weekend doing an investigation in a little shanty place called 153 Mile House. Yeah, find that on a map. It's like winning the blackout bingo. It's so hard to do it, but you're going to see it. We're going to talk about it. And he was investigating with a couple of BC friends here from the TV show Beyond the Haunting. They've been on Destination Haunted. They have done their Caribou Gold Rush Trail. It has been haunted. And they are two good friends of this show as well. And in fact, a couple of years ago, they actually filmed part of their episode in this studio where I'm broadcasting right now. And it's so good to have Merle here. How you doing, buddy? It's good to have you back.
Doing fantastic, Dave. Good to see you. It's like I just saw you yesterday or something, right?
You totally saw me yesterday. It was awesome.
I actually
It was
stopped this time.
absolutely awesome. Yeah. It was very good. And then we bring in Leanne and Corinne from Beyond the Haunting. Ladies, it's so nice to have you. And you know what? We're pretty close to being neighbors, Leanne. We're pretty close.
That's right. Thanks for having us. I remember being in that studio filming that episode.
Yes,
It
I
was
do
tight.
too.
It was tight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
all
know,
three
but-
of us in there. It was very tight.
Yeah. My favorite part was your whole roll call of everybody and welcoming. I was just sitting behind you and no one knew who I was yet.
And now you're signing autographs after the show. So line up to the center of the studio if you don't mind. To the center of the studio, Leanne. But if you make eye contact with Leanne, she will not sign. That's just me.
You know all the tricks. Yeah.
Well,
So
thanks
we're
for
going to
having
get
us
into
on.
some paranormal stories here because, you know, we've talked over the years, Merle, about how haunted the Caribou region of British Columbia is. And you went into a brand new place. And coincidentally, it kind of ties in to what I'm doing on my side project with Haunted 108, where you're literally going to a location where they're trying to move that building down to the heritage site where we actually do Haunted 108, called the 153-mile store. And tell us about it.
The 153-mile store. Oh boy, that was built in, what was it, 1920? It's got a kind of a cool store. I'm just trying to remember how to say his last name. It's
I know.
Crocina.
What was
Yes.
Crocina. A guy by the name of Louis Crocina. He wanted to come to British Columbia with his brothers, and they accidentally went to Columbia.
It's quite the story.
Yeah, for 4 years. But then he finally made his way up to British Columbia and hung his hat in 153 mile. And the history we learned about when we were there, about it was quite the hub. People going to Barkerville. That's where they stopped. There are tons of it's cattle ranch, and just all the stories, all the characters, all the family we learned about was fantastic. And I can't wait for that place to be moved to the 108-mile historic site so we can keep the history alive.
And Leanne and Corinne, you guys have done such a great job in telling the stories of this legendary gold rush trail that starts literally in Virginia City and eventually makes its way up. I mean, right behind my studio here, if you walked about 3/4 of a mile, you're on the Gold Rush Trail. It is haunted as anything. The spirits just seem to be kind of walking along. Why, Corinne, do you love this area so much?
Well, I think it's because it's in our own backyard. Like, we've talked about it for years, but there's so much history around the world, but nobody really thinks about like BC. And I think that was one of the draws. Like, there's so much history here and it goes back so long. And that Gold Rush Trail, like you're talking about from Virginia City, but even from Victoria and like Yale and all the way up, like through New West, the journey to get there. So to me, it's fascinating. The history alone of how in the world, like tens of thousands of people came from around the world to try to get to Barkerville. Like, that's a journey in itself today, let alone in the 1800s. So I think it's just fascinating, and bringing that history alive to a new generation through a paranormal lens and showcasing what really happened in our own province, I think is really important to get those stories out and share what people went through.
And one thing that we have talked about, and I don't think, the majority of our audience is from the United States. Just like the majority of your audience is in the United States as well, as weird as that sounds.
Right.
But one of the things that I have told our audience over the years, Leanne, is as Canadians, we don't do enough to really push our heritage, how we were built, what happened, what was the Gold Rush Trail all about. If this section of the Gold Rush Trail was in the United States, it would be blown up like the Oregon Trail is, or Virginia City. The San Francisco 49ers were named after the gold rush. That's why they have gold in their uniform. Yet up here, the minute you hit the Canadian border, Leanne, that whole story just disappears.
Yeah.
And it's up to people like us to bring attention to it.
Totally. We need to be better storytellers. And I think we are. I think we're getting there. I think the Gold Rush Trail is so unique because people might hear about, in the States, they might hear about British Columbia, the wildfires, the highway washouts, the floods. Maybe they don't, but it's an intense place, and Mother Nature rocks this province. Like, it is a hard place to navigate. Like me and Dave both live up in like near 100 Mile House, and we're constantly dealing with tourism aspects of, tourism suffers because sometimes people just can't get here. The highways are washed out. But this place, when we talk about the 153-mile story, like it kind of got to me because you walk in there and it is totally preserved. Like how often, even in the States, like you go somewhere and it is 100% how it was left in 1963. Like everything on the shelves, the shoes, everything we commented on, the medicine, the lady who, like we'll get to her, who passed away, like literally the last calendar turn she did in 1963 is just, it's all there. And then they shut the door. And so we have this amazing opportunity once again to hopefully tell a story. So yeah, there's lots here.
And the thing is, Corinne, to bring you back in, if we don't tell the story of places like this disappears. Not only British Columbia, but across Canada, especially where the populations are so centralized. Like for people who don't know, British Columbia has a population of around 6 million people. 4 million of those people live in the greater Vancouver area alone in a span of maybe 75 miles. You got about a million people on Vancouver Island, and then you got about 1 million people that kind of splatter out.
Totally.
And for people who don't understand how big British Columbia is, you could literally put California, Washington, Oregon, and Idaho, and even some of Nevada inside of British Columbia in order to kind of generate how big it is. So you have this splattering of people, little pockets like where we are broadcasting right now, 100 Mile House, British Columbia. We have a population of what, 2,200? 2,500, maybe at max, right? And then you have all these little communities that are spread out, and those stories get lost.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the big things for me, especially, and for our team is, we want to bring those stories to life. We want to share those stories that no one's heard about, because there's so many valuable things, like in the 153 store, just the artifacts alone that could tell the story of what happened on that Gold Rush Trail, that could potentially change the stories of some things. Like there's just so many things that I think, the province is huge, and we're living in such a global age that I think it's really important and valuable to share stories of those that aren't here anymore, and to kind of redefine history, like we're talking about, through whether it be a historical lens or paranormal lens, but definitely getting those untold stories out there. Like it's very important to keep that past alive.
Totally. And like walking through that store, like Leanne was saying. Oh,
that type of history. Sorry, guys, we're buffering on the YouTube side of things a little bit right now. This is a new problem that just started yesterday. So it'll click in here. I don't know when, but it will. But in telling that type of history and story, Corinne, about it, because our radio side missed that little bit there. The storytelling and keeping up with that history, the fact that the 153-mile store still has brand new shoes, dozens of boxes of brand new handmade shoes in there, or like you said, Merle, medicine bottles that have never been opened and they're in the original packages, clothing, food, everything. It's just absolutely insane that there is this place in the middle of nowhere that nobody will ever travel to, and it has hundreds of stories, Corinne.
Yeah, and the one thing in that store that stood out to me the most were the ledgers. They kept track of every person that was coming in and what they purchased and the dates they like that alone is incredible. So, when you're going through that, you can see who, like, these are names of real people who lived that journey and went to that place and traveled to potentially Barkerville and made it up to 153 miles. So I think it's really important to realize that it's not just the past. These are people like you and me that did this in a very different era, and to share those stories and really experience what it was like, I think is so valuable for everyone, whether it be, like I was saying earlier, if you missed it, like through a historical or a paranormal lens, or both, just really put yourself into that and immerse yourself in that experience.
Merle, this is your first time working with Leanne and Corinne, and vice versa. I mean, how great was it to work with them?
It was great. Like it was cool. I think when we met within a handful of minutes, we were all really relaxed. It was great. The energy was high. We were all positive, and we were all really keen to get to know each other and get down to business and tell a story. And we were I don't my we were so fluid at it, and so I I I give it an A+ as a teacher would. And
Nice. Nailed it. Yeah.
yeah, the story we told, we were learning off each other. And I gotta say, when we started filming, um, we walk in the store, and Corinne just started saying, "Who's Violet?" And then, Dave, you know me, I'm a private guy. I don't talk about any personal stuff ever, but here we are on Spaced Out Radio. Um,
Yes.
and then
Confessionals.
yeah, so then I stay quiet. I'm like, "Okay, I know that name." And then she said, "Well, Viola." And then Viola was my mom's aunt. And I'm like, "Okay, now we have to have a chat." And, basically, when we started on that set the tone, I'm like, "Oh, damn, she's top tier medium. That's what we're dealing with here." And, the one thing working with the ladies was how well they work together and how happy they are doing the investigation, and how much energy they bring to tell the story, not just find the spooky stuff and the ghosts and that, but find answers. And it's a rare find to work with people like that, because I try to be like that, and I think I do that quite well. And to find other people that do that is and you collaborate on such an important video, that's a home run. You knock that out of the park. Done. That's how I felt about it.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm so glad because I kind of felt like a conduit in between you guys, even though I'm not the paranormal investigator. But I've got to know Leanne pretty well over the last few years, and Merle, you're one of my best friends in this field, and to bring you guys, to have you guys kind of finally meet and go do your ghost investigations together and work well with each other. I mean, it's a dream come true for me because you're all just such awesome people. And
Yeah.
I'm so proud of your success, ladies, on what you've done with Beyond the Haunting. I mean, it's kind of cool when you can grab somebody you may not know very well, but you've heard a lot about them, and then all of a sudden, when you connect, Leanne, it just seems to click.
Yeah, no, we agree. I mean, so Kelly couldn't be on the show tonight, but of course Kelly was with us, and you had Jeff, and we just felt like it was intuitively just clicked, like you said. And if one person needed to grab a camera, they would do it. There was no questions. We just knew where to go and what to do. And yeah, it was really cool. And it was an interesting, like, it's a rare find when you have owners of a location. So this is on private property currently, and the owners were very gracious, and they kind of joined us as well. And even they flowed into it, like it was just a really
It was
good
awesome.
investigation.
Yeah. I agree. And I think, like you said, everybody just clicked, and it was interesting how active it really was. I wasn't sure. And yeah, and thank you for saying that earlier. I didn't expect your parent or your mom and your aunt to come through at all. I was expecting to find out what was going on in the store. But a lot of times, as we found out, the energies and the spirits that come through usually have to do with the people who are still living as well. So, we had your relatives, we had their relatives, we had people or spirits from the store, and then there's some that we're still trying to piece together. So, like, yeah, it was an event.
You can't take Corinne anywhere,
Really?
like she has to give everyone a reading. It interrupts everything.
Hold the phone. Let's
Side
do this.
missions. But no,
I want
the one
to-
thing I really enjoyed, Dave, about this one, because like we've experienced this at 108 with like Kelly at 108, but like having the owners or the property owners involved in the investigation and active, and finding answers for them and connecting dots for them while doing the investigation is kind of, I think that makes it really worth what we did at 153 Mile.
I think that's great. I want to ask you, Leanne, if you don't mind, what's the biggest difference between doing a paranormal investigation when you're doing it for a television production compared to what you guys just did at 153 Mile? Because, I think for a lot of people, we think it's all the same, but it really is not.
Yeah. I mean, you can be really nimble in these ones. So when we went into 153, it's like we have goals. We know what we kind of want to do. We set like, okay, let's try this or try this. And it's just more fast paced, I feel like. Like sometimes when you're filming for a show, there's a bit of waiting, there's a bit of setup, like there's the angles and the lighting and stuff. But on these ones, it's more like, let's just go. Yeah.
I think also one of the things is, when you're filming, you have a certain time, you have certain locations, you have to be gone by this time. We've set up the meeting with the interview of the owners or whoever, or like the clients at this time. So it's kind of like more regimented, where when you can really spend the time and delve in, I find that's a lot more, what's the word? A lot more
At ease.
fluid. Yeah. Like you have more time to really like delve in and spend some more time
In
to really
depth.
think things through. Yeah. More in depth. Exactly.
And if we need to grab, like we needed at one point, I'm sorry, I'm just jumping ahead, but at one point it kind of got quiet in the store, like spirit wise. And we all knew intuitively, oh, we need to get the owner back here because it was super active when he was there.
Yeah.
And so just being able to be like, hey, Roger, can you come back down here now, like right now? And, just kind of on the fly stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We got about 3.5 minutes to go before we go to break here at the bottom of the hour. We have our main man, Merle, around here from the Paranormal Road Trippers, along with Corinne and Leanne from Beyond the Haunting. We're talking about their past investigation just this past weekend. And, when you walk into a place like that really hasn't had the doors open to anybody from the public for decades, Merle, what's the energy like when you go into a place like that?
Overwhelming. It's basically like opening a fresh can of pop or like a fresh scented whatever. It just hits you in the face. That place, literally a time capsule from 1963, and I don't think no other team has ever been there. No other spiritual person, no psychics, no mediums, no ghost hunters. And I think when they sniffed us out, and they especially get like the spirits in the place, they're like, oh, there's somebody that can see us. They jumped in pretty hard and heavy to wanting to communicate with us in a friendly way, in a very inquisitive, and I think that's being a paranormal investigator. I think Beyond the Haunting can agree, going to a fresh location or a new location to be able to tell the story where nothing is ever done like that. It's pretty nice. It's great.
And we've been super fortunate too, and I'm sure it's the same for you. We get access to places like this. I think it's also our approach to it. It's very respectful. It's very like, let's find the answers, let's find the history. But we get told that often, like you're the first team that's been able to go into this location. So like, it's kind of neat to have that, that respect and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty humbling that they allow us to do that, right? And then because of that, we feel, as you do, I'm sure, that we want to deliver for those owners or the clients, and we really want to tell the story and find out what's really going on for them. So yeah, it's always an adventure.
And not just that though, but I think from an outsider's perspective, the way both of you guys investigate, it allows people who may not have had interactions with paranormal teams in the past, it gives them a good litmus test of what they expect. So that way, if somebody gets a little rowdy or starts doing things, they could say, hey, that's not right. I don't want that done here. And, they could set up their own rules and regulations. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of places have to learn the hard way that not all paranormal teams or investigators are the same. So when you go in there and you do it right for the first time, at least they have now a litmus test of what they should expect rather than what they may not want to. Because if they have a bad team come in that really doesn't respect the location, well, that's going to ruin it for every other team out there, rather than doing what you guys did, which is set it up for other people, but also allowing rules and regulations to be followed by the location as well, so they know what they're looking for. So good job on that. you guys. We have our main man, Merle, and from the Paranormal Road Trippers, based out of Vancouver, British Columbia, and Canadian Ghost Hunters, right here from the Caribou. We have Leanne, we have Corinne from Beyond the Haunting. This is Spaced Out Radio. We're going to get into some ghost stories of what they uncovered at the infamous 153-mile store. Next, the next half hour. All right, we're clear. Let me just unmute you here. There we go.
All right.
Good start, guys. Good start.
Fun.
Totally fun.
It's a bit laggy. I think I jumped in a few times when it was quiet, but it wasn't really quiet. It was, Dave, I think it was lagging on, was it YouTube?
Oh, it was lagging on my side. It
Okay.
buffered on my side. This buffering thing just started like yesterday. I'd never had it happen before. And it started yesterday where the audience could hear the guests, but I couldn't hear them. Like it was like they were frozen on my end. So
So if you're just nodding, we'll just keep talking.
I'm nodding. The funny part about it is that audio is not transforming to the radio side. So now I have to talk until try to figure out when the lag is going to end. So and then cut that, then you got your audio comes back in. And it only seems to happen for like a brief moment. So I'm not sure why it's doing that.
So it's not our Wi-Fi connection or anything?
No, it's not you guys at all. It's on
Okay.
my side.
Okay.
We should be good for the rest of the show now.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
By the way, I'm going to do something that I've never done before for our chat room people on YouTube. Put your Merle names up, and I will choose the best ones to put up and rename him every half hour.
Oh, jeez.
Because I did not.
Do you approve of this, Merle? Yeah.
I do it
Merle
every.
just goes with the flow on this.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And I speak in third person clearly. Or we.
Nice. I like that. You should
No.
continue that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So get those names in. Denise Corwin, how are you? I had a lady in my daytime office from the Rotary Club come in the other day. And this was yesterday, as a matter of fact. And so she hands me this Rotary sheet because, they're building that coupon book.
Yeah.
I don't know who does coupons anymore, but apparently people in our town still do. And so as she's leaving, she goes, "Oh, by the way, I listen to your show every night. My husband will be on the couch, and I don't want to watch what he's watching, so I just watch on my phone every night."
What's her name? You
I
should say
don't know.
hi.
I forgot her name.
Hi, Rotary lady.
Yes. Thanks for watching.
Lady from the Rotary Club, whoever you are, I love you. I'm sorry I forgot your name, but there's a shout out to you because you made me so happy.
She'll be in your office tomorrow.
Yep.
Right?
Get your coupons, Dave.
Yeah.
I got a brutal day tomorrow. Brutal. I literally will finish. I'm cutting an hour off the show tomorrow night because I'll end at 11, and then at 11:15 I'll be at 7-Eleven filling up my tank and driving to the airport for the morning.
Going on vacay?
UFO Con in San Francisco.
Sweet. Nice.
Cool.
So then I'm there till Monday morning, drive home, do the show that night. No rest.
Never ends.
Nice. I just finished working on the UFO survey with Chris Rotowski, our buddy Chris.
Mm-hmm.
So we just released that.
I love Chris. I got to get him back on the show. It's been way too long. Way too long. All right.
I'm just perusing all these Merle names just to see what we're dealing with.
Well, we're going to go with this one right here.
There's a lot of them.
Here.
Yeah.
There we go. Merlicious.
That's good. I like that.
It's a strong one.
Every half an hour, I'm going to ask you guys, and I'm only choosing one. Okay. Merloid. That sounds like a hemorrhoid cream.
It does.
Merloid.
Get rid of your
Merloid,
Merloid.
the hemorrhoid. That's not fun. What a terrible name.
That's funny.
Oh, God. I love this game so much. I've done it for years. Every half an hour, I change his name. And the funny part about it is the first few months I did it, he didn't even notice.
It said Chris Rotowski is my third favorite Canadian.
Wow.
I'm so curious who's number 1 and 2. Is it Dave and Merlicious?
Oh, that's Nicole Sackage. No, number 1 is Grant Cameron. Number 2 is me. Hi, number 1, Nicole.
Thanks, Nicole. Thanks.
Pat Leal, how are you doing? All right, we're coming back in 10 seconds. Thank you tonight to Kitty Caddywhack, T-Bone, and Lil Cam for the super chats. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show. And let's get it going.
I should not look at these comments.
Here we go, the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in for Ghosts of the Great White North with our main man Merle and special guests Leanne and Corinne from Beyond the Haunting. Now, before we bring them back in, we want to remind all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, our archives are always free on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Let's bring him on in. Our main man, Merle, from the Paranormal Road Trippers, based out of Vancouver, British Columbia, just in our area, investigating a nice haunted store with the ladies from Beyond the Haunting, Leanne and Corinne. Thank you, Merle, for bringing these two on. It's been a while since we had them on, so it's good to have you guys back.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Merle, this is where you step in.
It is, but I'm waiting for the name, man. I know that, so I can say it to your audience that can't see us, so you can say it. Oh yeah,
it's Merlicious. So for our radio audience, we use a program that we can balance out the radio show, and then it goes live on YouTube. And on this stream we have their video up, and every half an hour I change the name of Merle. So it's gone to Merlicious for this half hour. First one was Merle Necklace. Now it's Merlicious. So that's what we do. It's a little game that we play, and it's fun.
And Merle's consented to it. Yes.
I consent.
Yes, he consents. All right, buddy. You wanted to get into some ghost stories with Leanne and Corinne.
Yeah, just I'll go off what we were just talking about before the break when we were talking about the location, respecting location, and telling its stories. And one thing I really liked about working with the Beyond the Haunting ladies is how involved we all were with the owner of the property and the owner of the store, because we really wanted to tell their story properly. And one thing I like to do when I go to locations, especially being the first person there to tell these stories, is sometimes the owners will look at me like, aren't you making these decisions? I will bluntly say, what do you want us to tell? What would you like the world or whomever watches this to know about your location, about your story? What stories do you want to be told? Or when we do interviews, on your properties, on these big, vast properties, where would you like your interview to tell the story? And I don't mind putting people in places, but I really enjoy having them be so comfortable in wanting to tell stories to just bring the places to life. But that being said, yes, let's get into the ghost stories. I'd say the activity popped off immediately when we all walked in. And the fun part was when I sat down with Leanne, Corinne, and Kelly and Jeff, we I was like, do y'all want to know the ghost stories? Because I did a bunch of digging. I like to do the history part. And Corinne's like, no, but I just want to go in and see what we find, which was awesome because we filmed a really interesting walkthrough the first night we were there, and it was all getting the feelings, and that's when she was talking to a lot of the spirits that were coming through. And essentially, I didn't need to tell the ghost stories or the encounters that happened there because they all came out that night, which was really cool. How did you guys feel about the walkthrough when we did it?
Yeah, for me, it's it's interesting because I know that's why I don't like knowing things beforehand. Like we'll do the research afterwards, but when we walk into a place, we don't know what we're going to expect. So we'll get like you saw, it was just like whoa, and that energy, like you said, you open it up like a pop bottle, it just hits you. And for me, it's like whoa, I got to figure out what I'm seeing. So all these energies and spirits were stepping forward to communicate with the owner, right, with Roger. And so we know that I was kind of shocked because it was like some of his, some of yours, and I couldn't place all of them, and it was fast and furious, which is pretty typical for us.
And for those of you that don't know, Corinne's a very talented psychic medium. So like spirits go to her like she's a lighthouse and they just gravitate towards her. So that was happening in the walkthrough.
Yeah, and that tends to happen when we first walk into any location. We'll like kind of we'll all pick up certain areas, and then we'll pick up an energy and be like, okay, well, tonight or whenever we go back, we'll focus on that space and see what else we can get to validate and help the owners. So for me, I was quite shocked at how many. And when we did the full investigation, like there was other energies coming forward that we hadn't really connected with on night one. And so, it's like, how many more are there? And like, I'm sure there's more, but it was all like telling that story. And every time we got a new energy and something connected, and the owners were like, yeah, that so-and-so, we're like, wow, like there's so much history here. So yeah, for me, it was pretty intense the first night. And then I was just excited to get back in and follow up with the investigation.
Yeah, and this is like a family. It's a ranching, like cattle family, tons of history, big families, some tragedies, lots of stories, tons of siblings. So it was the first time ever that they had a chance to connect with somebody, right? So we walk into that store, it's like brothers, parents, grandparents, all the history of the store, people that work there. So we really kind of had to hone in on what we want to do in that walkthrough, right? And it turned into some personal stuff. But yeah, like you just never know what you're going to get when you first walk into a building like that.
Corinne, I had a question for you actually. Like I wanted to ask you this up there. As a psychic medium, what happens? Like
Yeah.
walk me through. Like you go into like I could see you looking everywhere when the spirits want to talk to you. But like what is happening through your eyes? Like what do you see and what do you feel? And like with all the different energies, people like ghosts coming through to you, what dissect it for me and our listeners, 'cause I know they want to know.
It's an excellent question. I get asked quite often about that, and it's taken me years to articulate how it kind of works. So my first thing, as soon as I walk into a space, the first thing, and everyone feels this, when someone's standing right behind you, when someone's walked up behind you, I feel like people are behind me. And then I start to see, and I explain it like, the old school movie reels, the black and white movie reels. I see that in my left vision, peripheral vision, and they're flashing images at me. And out of my left ear, I can hear kind of like an old static TV, with the antennas, that kind of old TV. So I'm hearing certain things being broadcast, or talked to, or however that works. And I'm seeing these and I'm trying to interpret it. And then as I'm interpreting, I'm seeing like white energies or darker energies or gray mist, and I can tell where they are, and I'm getting flash images of them. So when I saw, for example, was it your mom Violet or Violet? I can't remember who was who at the time.
Violet, yeah.
Violet. Okay, so when I saw her, it was like I could see her over here, and she's showing me certain images of certain things, and then I knew that was her, and I'm like, okay, so that I can put aside. Who is this? So the interpretation is the hardest part. So for my entire life, I've tried to like, why are they showing me a symbol that makes no sense to me? But then when I explain it, it makes sense to the person. Or, for example, they'll show me someone I know, and then I'll say their name, and then that connects. So it's like they're trying to show me in my consciousness things that I will connect with to explain to you, and then I will see them flash in and out. And sometimes, like even in the investigation, usually I just have senses of what they're showing me and I can tell they're around, or I can see them like fading in and out and moving. But I saw at the darkest black shadow of what to me looked like a young child or a shorter person pop right out. The music box goes off. We're mapping it in on the SLS, and it's walking right past the store really fast, or inside the store at the back. So it can be a shadow figure. It can be a white man. It just depends on how much energy and how they're presenting to me. But usually I can feel them behind me, and then I start to see the image, and then I can tell where they are and kind of what they look like.
And she has triggers, so we all know when it's about to happen, right? Like, you got to experience that. Like, she's kind of looking around or like tapping, and like you just know there's a things going on in your mind, and you just have to.
I noticed the tapping like that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even remember doing that. And like, apparently Kelly's always like, "You're biting your lip. What's happening?" Like, I am. Like,
well, Kelly and I both know like what's happening, so we just kind of like let it come through. But I mean, that on a scale was higher up there, because like normally it's one or two things.
Yeah, there was a lot
in a walkthrough, but we were just like, wow, this is a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if that resonates, but like, to me, it's been very consistent about seeing those images, feeling the person, and then seeing them, and like clear as day, and then fading away.
Then kind of a question off that is, like, when you take a location, for example, like 153 that we are at, which was brand new territory, versus a location like a museum that's had a lot of high volume traffic go through it. As a psychic medium, does the energy fade, or is it the same in both places?
Good question. Well, it's depend. I guess it depends. Like, if there's a place where there's a lot of people going in, the energy is sometimes harder to connect with, because there's all the residual energy of the people that have been in that space. So, and there's times like we've done so many investigations, but like one that stands out for me was at the Washer Club. We're speaking of Virginia City in Nevada. We were there, I don't know, 2016-ish, and we went because I'm like, is that really that haunted? Like, is it really, like, I want to experience this for myself. So we went down, and I went in, and I was like, at first I was like, okay, it's not that bad. And then the first time we've been down there a couple times, but the first time I was so overwhelmed. Like, I was shaking so badly. Leanne had to pull me out. Like, she literally physically took me out of that space, because I was like, what is happening? And it was almost like there was so much energy from the past, from the people that were there, from the owners that lived there, from the people that had been downstairs earlier. That was just so much that I needed to take a minute and get out. So a new space can be exciting because it's fresh, but places like museums can have a lot of other energy that you got to work through to try to interpret what's going on.
You know what I'm so curious about is when this building actually moves, hopefully, to the 108 site, and Dave's involved in it on that end of it. Will the ghosts there move with it? Because there's a lot of family, like it's a family property, family thing. So like, that's going to be fascinating when the time comes, like who's going to be in the store.
Because a lot of times those energies are connected to the people that are still living, right? And, I'm not sure that there's going to be one specific ghost that goes with the building. I don't know. Like, it's fascinating to consider.
Here's one of the things that I always wonder about, especially on locations like the Gold Rush Trail, is you have your resident spirits, but you also have a bunch of transients that come in. And this is always what makes me wonder, are they ghosts, or are we watching different timelines, combine with each other? And I don't know why that blows my mind, but it does. And because I can't figure it out. Because years ago, I used to think, a ghost is a ghost is a ghost, and then I learned that there was difference between a spirit and ghost. But the transient ghost compared to the regular ghost, compared to the timeline and dimensions and all of this, messed me up. Totally messed me up. So one thing about a place like this is where you have, because it's a store, you have a bunch of transient spirits. Maybe they're coming in for a can of corn. Maybe they're coming in for a new pair of shoes or a t-shirt, or maybe they need a new pair of jeans or cat food, whatever it may be. So in a store, you have transient spirits, Corinne, but you also have the regulars. How do you tell the difference between the two? Because the two can also act very differently in personality.
Absolutely. And there's been places where, we've been told that this is the ghost that's in the building, but they've also randomly gotten this other thing. And so when you go in, you're like, okay, well, I think this is what's happening. But like you said, it blows your mind. Could it be a different timeline? Is it different frequencies, like different energies? Because there's been places and times where it's almost like there's 2 or 3 energies in the same place, but they don't seem to interact. I'm like, well, if they're all in the same place, how are they not interacting? So it does lead to bigger questions for sure. And you can go down that rabbit hole, and it does blow my mind too. But yeah, it's definitely the ones that are there a lot are easier to pick up on, the transient ones, so to speak, that pop in and out. I think we even experienced some of that. Like we had that, that term come up during your Estes method, and you're like, well, that's a blast from the past. But I think things can pop in and out, and it's just how much we engage with them that it will either, like, we accept it, engage with it, it'll continue, or we block it and it goes away. Like, I don't know how or why that does, but they do pop in and out for sure.
And that's the whole thing, is like some people claim to be paranormal experts and like they know everything on an expert level. It's like, we don't know. This is like a great example of like the timelines, like Crane said, not to go down the rabbit hole, but if time doesn't exist, Dave, like, and everything's happening right now on the Gold Rush Trail, like, what are we actually tapping into? Like,
are we the ghost to them?
Like, we don't really know, like, from that level. So it's fascinating to like try to get the evidence and explain what's happening.
That I agree. Like it's interesting because we like I'll tell the Estes story. Dave, remember at 108 Mile when I was investigating, I had the name. I'll just say it. Hematos came through, and if you Google that name, it's not a very pleasant spirit. And that came through on my spirit chat, which for our audience, it's a word bank where it says that a ghost can manipulate the EMF and articulate a word through it. It's basically Britain's Ovilus, and that happened last year, and it spooked me, and I actually ended our session abruptly at 108 Mile, and that was the end of that. And then fast forward to 2 days ago, at the 153 Mile, we were doing the Estes method. I was the one with the goggles on and the radio, the spirit chat. For our audience, that's a sensory deprivation exercise where spirit box is sweeping AM/FM frequencies, and they say spirits can manipulate the frequencies to say words, and with headphones on. And that name came through, I think Corinne was holding the Ovilus, which is a spirit chat, but this one was an older version even, and the word Hematos came through on that. What's the likelihood and chances of that to happen? That blew my mind and kind of freaked me out a bit, but we prevailed. I trusted that it wasn't bad or anything like that, and yeah, it's weird. The whole wavelengths.
Be a spirit that's, Merle, sorry to cut you off. Would that be a spirit that's maybe following you around from location to location?
We talked about that, and you said more of a trickster than anything.
Yeah, I didn't pick up anything like there's nothing attached to Merle. Sorry. The name threw me off for a second. I didn't pick up anything attached to Merle. I do, and we've gone to places before, and people always ask me, have you come across anything evil? And we get that all the time. And I'm sure we have, but if it's evil, I don't want any part of it. We don't engage with it. We move on, and we're there for a purpose, and it's to communicate with family and, the people that told the stories there. I don't want to talk to whatever that is. So I didn't pick up anything that was going to be attached. I didn't think anything was negative in that moment, and we ignored it. And honestly, I felt like it left. Like I felt like it was a trickster, like we're here, like that transient thing. And then it left again. And right away it got calm again. And then the family came through again. So I don't know what that is, but I didn't feel anything at that time, or even now, was negative about that.
But right after that, oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go for it.
I was going to say right after that, remember it was the energy shifted, and you didn't know this, and I don't know if you've looked at the footage yet, but I said, do you want me to open the door?
Yeah.
Like the front general store door. And you said, like, good idea. And so I walked across the room to the back and I rang the bell, which I feel like just changed the energy totally. Cause you're like, oh, I feel good now.
Yeah.
Like it just
awesome.
shifted. And then when I rang the bell again, you said good evening. I don't know if you've looked at the footage, have you? Am I giving stuff away? Am I not supposed to be telling them?
No, you can say that.
Okay.
I looked at the Hematos stuff. I had to. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I think the last time you said we're close or we're closed.
Yeah.
So it was very cool that you were actually responding to the door and the bell, like across the room, not being able to hear anything.
Yeah. And instantly the energy shifted.
That's good. And to further the Hematos story, so during our 108 footage, Anthony, he was investigating with me. He's my friend from Barkerville. And I called him today. I'm like, you'll never guess what name came through. And then I told him that you said that, it's a trickster. It's nothing too bad. And he dropped a couple swear words on the phone. And he's like, you'll never guess. I was in Toronto, Ontario, Canada in October. And I asked about this. And that psychic said that it was just a trickster, not to be worried. So that was a kind of a mind-blowing moment that I think that like there are a lot of tricksters out there that chest puff and have a lot of hot air, so to speak, trying to scare people and play with them.
Were you thinking about that word at all before it came up?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that was shelved. That was compartmentalized away. So
Yeah. Yeah. Those ones are weird, but like honestly, I felt like if we talked about this before too, and our investigation kind of motto is if anyone's uncomfortable, we call it. It doesn't matter. If someone's out, we're all out, you know? And the same went with you. If you were ready to leave, we would have left with you. I didn't feel anything, but you know, we carried on. But if you had been serious and wanted to leave, we would have called it because we respect the investigators. We're the ones that have to live with any aftermath, right? So absolutely.
We got about 3 minutes to go before we have to go to break at the top of the hour. Our main man, Merle from the Paranormal Road Trippers, is here. We're talking ghost stories with Leanne and Corinne from Beyond the Haunting. And as you guys go through this location, explain the building to us, Leanne. What's it look like? Paint a picture for us.
Yeah, it's so through these people's property, like on their farm in the middle of these cattle ranches, is this old shed that looks like nothing from the outside. And then you walk in the front door, the bell rings, and you see 1963 as it was. Like everything, shelves, really high ceilings, clothes, shoes, everything for sale. Like we had actually quite a fun time going around looking at all the different, 1920s, 1930s era stuff. And then actually the best part for me, Dave, was they lifted the attic ladder down. And for those of you that don't know, Corinne has a fear of heights like no other. So getting her upstairs was this whole event. And
like 50 feet in the air.
Yeah, it's hopefully going to make the episode.
Oh.
And then getting up to the top, it's the same. Like everything was just put upstairs that they didn't have room for downstairs. So it's stacked. You see skates from 1910. Boxes full of clothes, like unopened, price tags on.
We should talk about the skates.
Yeah. And then just to say, there's a full basement too. Like you can go down. So it's 3 floors. And I think the goal is when they move it, they're just going to, the whole thing's coming. Like every single item in that store, in the person's will of the family, it was to move it. So how we saw it is hopefully how other people will see it too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys feel when you leave a location like that it's mission accomplished? Or do you feel, Merle, that there's more to give, that we just hit the tip of the iceberg?
I leave always wanting to do more and tell more story for people. That's my personal opinion on that. But when we left, I felt that we got what we needed for the location, for the family, and to tell the story, which is what we're there for. Could there be a part 2 to that? 100%. There's so many stories you could tell there. And that's something that I would love to do when it's moved, to see who moved with it, if all the spirits get along from the 108 and the 153, and to see if there's any transients that like the new house and the new store and want to hang their hat there. There's so much.
How about for you guys, Leanne and Corinne?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we definitely got what the owners wanted, which is always really important for us. And it was cool because Roger said I wasn't a believer yesterday, but I'm a believer today. Like,
Yeah.
he was just blown away because he got to talk to family, like multiple members of family he got to speak with. So that's a big win.
Yeah, when the details correlate and, there's no denying who the spirits are, that's really important. But like Merle said, there's so much more to be told at that location. But I think for the owner's sake, we did it justice for now.
All right. I'm going to get you guys to hold on right there. Hard to believe we're already through 1 hour on Spaced Out Radio. Hour number 2, more paranormal stories with Leanne and Corinne from Beyond the Haunting. And of course, our main man, Merle, from the Paranormal Road Trippers. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. Merle, the audience is been going hard on you.
Nicole Sackage wins with what she just wrote.
Merle to Geist.
She encountered a Merle Geist. Yeah.
All right. We got about 5 minutes here. I'm going to put you guys all back in the green room. If you want to take a quick break, be back here in a couple minutes. Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay.
All right. So we're going to just put this up here for you guys, and we'll be right back. bring you guys back on. There we go. And good show so far. Good show so far.
It's fun talking
show.
ghosts.
It
Yes.
is.
Super fun.
It is fun.
Yeah. Never dull in the genre for sure.
All right, let's get some names up. What are we naming Merle
Uh-oh.
the next half hour? We need to know this. We need to know. It's important news, guys. I changed you guys, Leanne and Corinne.
My name has one N if it matters.
Is it 2 R's, 1 N?
Nope, one of everything.
Okay, well, let's edit that.
Thank you.
She had to be different.
Yeah, I think my mom. She's
Yeah.
probably watching. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Yeah, she's definitely watching the text.
All right, big thank you tonight to our super chatters, Kitty Cattywhack, T-Bone, and Little Cam. Great way to support our show. Head to our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out. Get your own. Here we go. We are into the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Ghosts on topic with Merle and Leanne and Corinne from Beyond the Haunting. My name is Dave Scott, and I love telling these stories for you each and every night. So thank you for listening on in. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. And what does the Clam have for us tonight? Well, let's find out here. Let's find out. There it is. Galimatias. Galimatias is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's go to the Paranormal Road Trippers, our main man, Merle, Leanne, and Corinne from Beyond the Haunting. And one of the things that's very exciting for both of you and me as well, we are going to be all appearing at the first annual Caribou Con in 108 Mile Ranch, British Columbia. It's a celebration of the paranormal, supernatural, and this is the only paranormal conference in British Columbia, or I even think maybe even Western Canada right now.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And-
probably.
It's September 18th through 20th. People could go to cariboucon.com. Let me spell that for you. CARIBOOCON, cariboucon.com, and reserve VIP tickets right now. And one of the cool things that we're going to be doing at this event is not only are your speakers going to be there, okay, but at night, if you want to go on a ghost hunt of the historic 108 Mile Ranch Heritage Site, where I set up Haunted 108 that I've been telling you about, you could go on a tour with Merle. You could join Leanne and Corinne. You could do that and go have some fun and literally ghost hunt with these professional ghost hunters. It is that great. cariboucon.com is the website. Merle, I know you're looking forward to it. You're going to be a speaker. What are you going to be speaking about?
Damn it! I knew you were going to ask that. Merle's gonna have a really good session and lecture. It's you'll know next month. And leave you hanging on that. I'll probably I'll probably be talking about the ghost hunting ethics and basic investigative stuff. I don't know. You'll know in April. I'm gonna announce it, so y'all are excited. But you better buy your tickets now. Do it.
And Corinne and Leanne, you guys are co-keynote speakers. Grant Cameron, UFO extraordinaire, will be, or UFO researcher extraordinaire, will be the keynote speaker on the Saturday night. You guys will be the keynote speakers on the Sunday night. I mean, how fun is that to be able to speak and talk paranormal to a lot of interested and invested people?
It's always fun to talk to people who are interested in all of this and have a keen passion for it, and get people's stories and share and connect. I think it's just, we were talking about it before. We're all learning, right? We're all trying to figure this out. And so the more we talk and the more we share, I think that's really powerful to understand what's actually happening and how we can help other people and how we can learn from others as well.
Yeah, and it's nice to be surrounded by people all interested in the same things. Like, I joke about my life like 10 years ago in very corporate world and just being made fun of endlessly for talking about this stuff. So I feel like the stigmas are going away and people are actually like coming around, and it's really cool to see the momentum actually in the Caribou coming. And we know people that have bought tickets and they're coming from like Kelowna, Penticton, like all over BC. So it's really neat.
Yes,
I'm excited.
I am going to be speaking on the Friday night because I have a busy weekend making sure everything's organized the rest of the weekend. And I'm going to be doing like a combination of the Sasquatch and UFOs and aliens and how they all kind of tie together. And, there's one location which I haven't taken you ladies to, and I'm hoping to take you ladies out there to Flight 21 coming up here this year. So please, 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 let's sit down and get something on the calendar for that. That would be wonderful. Leanne, I mean, I know you're booked right until about December 24th right now.
Yeah. We'll find time, Dave.
Yeah, I'm going to force you to make time. How about that? I'm going to force you to do it.
Sounds good.
Because darn it, I'm fun of the field. I am fun.
Yeah, no, I know you've been talking about it, and it is intriguing. I think actually getting Corinne there would be fascinating.
As long as there's no snow. I am not a winter person.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. The good news is the snow is melting.
That's true.
There's 3 weeks in August. We'll get you.
Yeah, we'll go then.
Yeah, about 3 weeks in August. That's literally about it. So, but when you go to a new location, let's say I bring you out to Flight 21, okay, which is going to happen. Corinne, what exactly do you look for in that area? Because literally you're in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
You have more than one phenomena happening at once. As a psychic medium, how do you balance all those different energies? Or is it going to be mainly focused on literally the spirits that are there?
It's always different. Like, we've gone into places where I was expecting it to be just spirits, and honestly, we picked up energies that I'm like, I don't think this is a potentially human. It could be something of a different frequency. I don't know what that is. Like, there's just times I'm like, I'm not sure. So it's always interesting. I've never been out there, so I have no idea what to expect. But the stories that I have heard from Leanne out there, that would be, for me, fascinating to go and see what I do get. So I don't know. I think it would be interesting to see what I pick up, because I have no idea what to expect at that site.
Has she told you much?
Oh, it's a plane crash.
I've kept some of the good stuff back, Dave, because I really just want her to
Yes.
experience this.
Yeah.
Then I'm not going to say anything else about that. But
Sounds good.
I'm very curious. I'm very curious to see what you get on that, because it is, how can I put it? I've bragged about it so much and I still have troubles defining what it is like. And Merle, how would you describe it?
A paranormal smorgasbord. You never know what's going to happen up there.
You literally do not know what's going to happen. Whether you're going to be followed by Bigfoot, whether you're going to have other things going on. I mean, we'll give you one little story here, not giving you very much information, but that one time in 2024, when we were followed and paced by a Sasquatch in the trees.
Oh my gosh.
And then we came back to our camp and there was a 17-inch track right 10 feet from our tent.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be camping. Just saying.
Yeah, we're never camping up there again.
I'd do it again.
I would camp
Okay.
in the area, just not there.
No, I'd be
Okay,
right
fair.
If Crean gets tracked by a Bigfoot, I mean, that'd be bucket list for me.
Yeah. There would be some good footage of me potentially running fast, but yeah.
I will say this. I think there was only about 3 times. I was up there probably 20 times last year.
Oh, wow.
And there was only maybe 2 times where we didn't find fresh tracks.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. Like, yeah, for sure. I'm totally interested in going to experience something, but yeah, I have no idea what to expect energetically when I'm there. So that's always the interesting part, just picking up and seeing what I actually do get.
Has anyone, Dave, ever connected with the victims of Flight 21?
We stay right away from it.
Okay.
But there's a reason for that. Okay. We allow this. So at Flight 21, we allow the spirits to come down the trail. If they want to talk to us, they're more than welcome. And on one of the footages that we got, that Tim still has, on my FLIR, you actually see a blue image of a ghost kind of walking and pacing behind our lawn chairs.
Oh, wow.
But the reason why I don't usually go for the paranormal side of it all is because it's still an open investigation.
Oh.
Okay. It's still Canada's largest unsolved mass murder. So
Yeah.
it's because of that I don't go into the wreckage. Like, we'll walk into the wreckage. We don't really film in the wreckage, at least what I have done there. I know the cause is our first video on our YouTube channel about this, which we've titled Secrets of the Forest. If you go to episode 1, you'll actually see that we do get some ghostly activity outside of the plane crash site. So it's just trying to balance that. We know the cause because we named the video Cause and Effect. The cause is the crash site. What we don't know is all of the strange effects that have come through since that happened when we have been investigating. And Merle can attest, the first time we ever went out there, we actually got escorted out of the forest by Sasquatch in 2018.
Well, that sounds very fascinating. I do need to see this space.
Yeah, like from Kern watching you at 153, just how you're locked in, like straight up locked in. I'll tell you one little ghost story from Flight 21 that didn't happen at Flight. Like, it happened on the outskirts, like right outside of it. This was last year. Remember the Sam's truck?
Yes.
So we had some weird stuff happen at the forest line, which I won't get into because I'd like you to experience. But then when we were, Dave was carting us out one by one because we had a bunch of gear up there in his Jeep. And Sam, our friend's truck, was parked just on the outside. There's the big dip, and then her truck was there. And I saw a spirit of a female sitting in Sam's truck, staring at me like a full body. And then I'm like, well, I have to sit in the truck now and wait. So by the time I got out, they weren't in the truck anymore. But then when I was sitting in the truck, I heard something running all around the truck and tapping on the truck, kind of like scaring the crap out of me. I got it on film. I'm pretty excitable during it. But like,
you were rattled, dude. You were rattled after that happened. Because to lead up to that, we literally had a scenario where it took us 3 trips to get our gear up there. And what we believe was we were surrounded by Sasquatch that night. And they were getting closer and closer, and they were getting aggravated that we were there, like pushing through the bushes, stomping feet, all of this kind of real intense, okay, what are you guys doing here? It's time for you to leave. And we literally packed up my Jeep in one push. It was like the best Tetris game we've ever played. Just stocking everything back in the Jeep and getting the hell out of there. And then I had to take Merle first up to his vehicle, up to Samantha's vehicle, and that's where he saw the ghost. And there was, I guess you were being surrounded, like it was like tapping on the truck and all that kind of stuff, Merle.
It was. And like I honestly, I wasn't sure what was happening up there. There's just a big no feeling. But I remember when we were all panicked and we were getting ready to leave, I crossed my arms and was like, I forgot my tripod up there. We need to fetch it. So
Yeah, it
we
was.
fetched the tripod.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. Absolutely one of the
Cool.
craziest nights. Thank God Tim Hortons was open at 1:00.
Good old Tim's.
Good old Timmy's. But you know what? To me, that's incredible. So if you can have all this experience plus seeing that person in the car and outside, like is that area? I'd be curious, like right off the get-go, what is the land? Like what is the dirt? Is there limestone? Is there quartz? Like what's in that area to make it such a hotbed? You know what I mean? So if that's happening in that area, like what is going on in that area? That's very compelling.
I can't wait to take you there.
Exciting.
Cannot wait to take you guys there. But enough about us. You guys have been all around North America and even traveled over to Europe for investigations for what you do for television. What's the difference between investigating, Leanne, in Canada compared to the United States, compared to over in Scotland or Ireland or the United Kingdom?
Me having to be the driver and drive on the left side of the road.
Thank you.
That was a good one I took for the team. But it's amazing. We've seen so much culture. We've been so fortunate. We've hit locations at really cool times. Like we were in New Orleans for Mardi Gras, and we were in like all these different spots when crazy cool cultural things are happening. So like we have been very, very fortunate in what we've done. We were in Ireland, was it this past fall?
Yeah.
I'm losing track of
maybe it was last April.
We were in Ireland and just seeing old castles, like that's real history, that's 1200. We were at one of those old stone circles that went back to the Druids. And there's a full moon that night, it's shining on this site, and you have to kind of pinch yourself going, wow, this is like real places we are able to investigate and try to get these stories for castle owners and people in every different walk of life and different scenarios. They all just want the stories.
I think to add to that, it's been interesting for me to see different cultures in different countries and how they approach the paranormal. In Canada for so many years growing up, and even like up until the last 10 years, you didn't talk about this. You couldn't get into places. No one wanted association with anything paranormal. Like, no way. In the US, I found that it was a lot more open in certain areas and they were more willing to talk about it. And there was a lot more people who were curious and already investigating. But you go to like Ireland or England or, even up in Scotland, and there's like this whole culture around, there's fairies and there's like legends and there's ghosts and there's this and there's banshees and all these things. And you're like, wow, like this goes back so much further, and the legends are so much more entrenched in their culture and society that, it's been around for so long that you got to wonder, like, well, how long has this been going on? And, is that still happening where we are? Just because, we're a newer country doesn't mean we don't have the same history of everything. So yeah, it's interesting to see how the cultural perception of all of this also influences beliefs and the hauntings themselves.
Merle, was that your experience too? Like in Canada and BC, certain locations are just like, nope, we don't do paranormal,
Yeah, I find Canada very, not as much like you said anymore, very conservative with their letting you in to check out for ghosts. But the States, very relaxed. Like the United States, a lot of them are welcoming. They treat it more as a business. But yeah, no, like everyone has a ghost story. Even up here, I don't want you to come here and see my stuff, but I've heard this ghost story. They'll tell you. And I guess like I've investigated in like London, England, and it's the same over there. They're open arms with ghosts. But it's nice Canada's finally coming around to it. And I guess they see the benefits of telling the stories and keeping our history alive, essentially.
I think there's still that opinion in Canada with ghost hunting,
It's
at
weird.
least in British Columbia, because that's all I can speak for. Of, if we don't talk about it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
What will people think?
Yeah. But at the same time, you go back and look at indigenous cultures, like they all have legends and stories about paranormal things that go back to like, their first kind of like contacts and settlements of the land. So I don't know. I find it really fascinating that it goes back, but we've kind of blocked it for a while, and now we're kind of reconnecting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's funny we're talking about that because like I've been like in Manitoba, I've done places in Winnipeg, and they're a lot more welcoming than BC has been, and I guess we're just catching up to it, and it's nice finally.
Yeah, for sure.
3 minutes to go before we have to go to break at the bottom of the hour. We have Merle, we have Leanne and Corinne from Beyond the Haunting television show. When you go into a location, that say has never been investigated, how do the ghosts, Leanne, react to you guys being in there? Like the 153 mile that you just did. Nobody had ever done a paranormal investigation there. Are the ghosts a little shocked that you guys are there trying to communicate with them and that you can hear them or maybe see a shadow move or have interaction?
Well, for this store, it was very quick. They wanted to talk. It's not always like that, but this one was like Corinne said, they were lighting up. And we all, like me and Kelly, experience things differently and sense things too. And like for myself, I was fixated on this picture of this woman. Like Corinne's giving readings to family and blowing people's minds, and I'm just staring at this like photo. Like, what is going on with this photo? And then Roger, I think it was Roger, actually walked over and picked up that photo and brought it to us. And he's like, this is, Lil, she died right where you're standing. And she was the shop owner that passed away, and then they closed the door. And I was like, oh, okay, that's why I'm like obsessed with this photo. So they reach out in different ways to all of us.
How about for you, Merle? Do you notice a difference?
I do. It goes either way. It goes full speed ahead when Corinne's there, or in other locations. Sometimes it's silence, nothing. And I think it's sometimes spirits assessing you to see what are you up to, what are you doing, and my little thing I like to do with that is bring in the property owner, the curator, or whomever, and introduce us. And I find once you do things like that, your communication with the other side picks up. So it's kind of another hack that I like to try.
Corinne, with about 90 seconds to go here, just your thoughts. Like when you as a psychic medium go in there, and some of these spirits probably haven't talked to people in decades. Are they kind of shocked when all of a sudden you're like, hey, I can hear you or I can see you? Talk to me.
Yeah, 100%. That's one of my big things. People ask me, like, do I get scared? I'm like, I don't get scared. I get anxious because I don't know how many are going to be there. And so that to me is the scariest part of an investigation, is walking into a building for the first time and trying to read the room with the people that are there, but also the spirits that want to come forward. Because like we said, the 153, I wasn't expecting a lot, to be honest. And as soon as we walked in, it was like you hit this wall of energy, and it was just like you could see them lining up. I think at one point I was counting because I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many, and there's another layer, and I'm like, what is going on? So yeah, it's, to me, that's one of the scariest parts, because you don't know what you're walking into and how many you're going to be there, and how it's not aggressive. It's just energetic, because like Leanne said, excitement, because they haven't been able to communicate or share that message or tell that person something that they needed to know, or whatever it is they might want to share. And that can be kind of overwhelming for me. So that's when I need to kind of just be like, if you hear me ever just like you said, dialed in or locked in, I'm like, okay, give me a second. And I'm looking and I'm processing. I'm like, okay. And I'm not really looking at anyone in particular. I'm just trying to figure out who's who, so that we know for the investigation. So that's for sure, that's a lot of overwhelming anxiety for me, but it's excitement, and they're excited, and I'm happy to share those messages.
Do you find that they're pretty open? Like when you need a 20-second answer.
Yes. I think they are very open. I think the information that comes through is very dependent on who is with us. And I think that the messages are very direct and what they need to hear in that moment.
Well, and they're seeing their family getting closure in real time.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We have Merle, we have Leanne and Corinne for another half hour on Spaced Out Radio. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we are clear. And next half hour, we'll get into some audience questions.
Okay.
Let them have fun too.
Cool.
Definitely.
All right, guys, another half an hour. We need you to choose Merle's final name for the night.
Make it a good one.
Final name.
Who's Milton Merle? What does that mean?
Comedian Milton Berle.
Oh, okay, I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
I think also the last half hour we should I'd like to talk about a few of the spooky stories from 153 that correlated with like the research I did.
Oh, okay.
And
Cool.
it just hit every check mark, which is
I have one of the stories I know Dave's gonna like for a specific reason. Yeah.
okay.
It has a relation to him. Yeah.
A relation to me?
And something he likes that I'm now putting together in my head.
Okay,
yeah.
well, we'll get to that. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, Dave wants to do that. This is so cool. There it is. I see the name. I see the name.
Oh, no. Now I'm looking.
I
I'm
think
looking.
I know it.
The Paramarv one.
No, I think it'll be that one.
Bob
The winner
Merle's-
is this one.
Bob Merle's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh dear.
That's good. Yeah. Nice
There's the
word.
Here we
winner.
are. Pee-wee Merleman. Love it.
Pee-wee Merleman. Marshmallow is strong, though.
That was strong. Yep.
Marshmallow is strong. Merle versus the Bureau of Uncooperative Spirits.
I like Bob Merle. That was a good one.
Bob
That was a good
Merle
one.
is a good one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you're a bass guitarist, you could be Duff Merle Kagan.
Yeah.
If you were a drummer, you could be Merle Collins.
Comments
Oh my
from
gosh,
Merle.
So many
Come on.
options for you.
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
Mm-hmm.
I see the sticker collection happening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mike's a swear word in these parts, isn't it?
Damn swear word. I don't even know who Mike is anymore.
Neither
I
do
really
I.
don't. Somebody calls him
Really?
Mike.
Oh.
Who the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, that's all I know him by.
When
So
you-
saying Merle is weird for me.
When you watch the YouTube thing, Dave, you'll just have to drink every time we say Mike.
Yeah. Jesse's Mike.
Yeah.
There's a reason why. There's a reason why we call him Merle. Because A, it's his middle name. But B, how many Mikes do you know? There's a lot of Mikes out there.
Okay.
And for him to stand out in the paranormal, we figured, you know what? There's no Merles out there.
There can only be one.
It makes him stand out. Makes him stand out.
It's cool initials. MMM. Mm.
The Sound of Merlins. Good song.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me it's Mike, Jeff, and Katie. That's I'm like, okay. Who's this Merle?
Who's Merle?
Yeah.
Right? Here's a good one. From Merle's girl, Spice Merles.
Spice up your life.
Very strong.
Nice.
Nice.
Katie
Yeah,
has entered the
I like
chat.
that.
Yep.
Hillbilly Herb, Dark Side of the Merle.
I will say Katie was also awesome to have with us
Yeah.
on the
He's
investigation.
phenomenal.
Yeah, and Jeff was
He is
awesome.
phenomenal. How is Andy?
Andy just walked around and did Andy things.
Mhm. 9-inch
Yeah.
Merles. Merlin.
I'm so distracted by these
I know.
comments. I can't even focus on.
We got about 30 seconds. Big thank you to our super chatters, Kitty, T-Bone, and Little Cam. If you haven't already, do us a favor to help with the algorithms. Give us a thumbs up. And after the show, leave a comment. Tell us what you like about tonight's show. We'd appreciate that. And of course, join us at haunted108.com. If you're looking for a new travel event, we are setting up a paranormal tourism hotspot right here in the heart of the Caribou region of British Columbia. Haunted108.com on YouTube, Haunted 108 as well. Go hit subscribe. Here we go with the second half of Spaced Out Radio. This show is flying on by tonight. My name is Dave Scott from the Paranormal Road Trippers. We have our main man, Merle. And of course, the great ladies from Beyond the Haunting, Leanne and Corinne, are here as well. And recently, they just got off a paranormal weekend at a place called 153 Mile Ranch Store. Yeah, a little hamlet called 153 Mile. So that would mean I live in 100 miles, 53 miles north of where I live. And we're going to talk about it. Now, Leanne, you made a mention that there was kind of a weird story that involves something that I like. I got to hear it right off the bat. I got to hear it.
Okay, cool. So when we were on the main floor, I noticed a lot of skates. And then when we went up to the top floor, I'm fixating on the hockey skates. And they look old, right? Like they're those old, really vintage ones. And I just said to the owner, is there a connection to hockey or skating? And he proceeded to tell us about his brother, Rusty, who used to play for the Edmonton Oilers. And he was like, which I know you love the Oilers, right? I'm not getting that wrong.
My Oilers.
Okay, yeah. And it was like pre-NHL, like it was so long ago, but he was, he was very involved in the hockey world, and he actually started to come through. I think there were messages, and it was this whole cool connection from this small town in 153 Mile to like the NHL as a part of this family.
And the other thing was on the obelisk when we were communicating, it said Rust.
It
Yeah,
did.
so-
Yeah.
And then we found skates that actually had the family name in it.
So they were his. So that's like a really cool artifact for when it actually, comes to being, is like these are the skates of one of the first pre-NHLers. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you about Rusty Patode.
Yeah.
Played for
There
the
you go.
Edmonton
Oh, you know
Oilers.
him.
That's him. That's who we were
That's
talking
him.
to.
Played for the Edmonton Oilers during their pre-NHL era during the World Hockey Association. Played from 1972 to 1977 with the franchise, starting as the Alberta Oilers, renamed as the Edmonton Oilers. He was a high-scoring winger with a career-high 42 goals and 72 points in the 75-76 season. He was considered a fine WHA player who played on a line with teammates Norm Ullman and Ken Baird, often remembered by fans for his early WHL shootings or WHA shooting style. His nickname was Old Puckhead.
Do you just know this?
Yeah.
No,
just
I
pulling this
looked
up.
it up. I was curious.
Oh, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
That's him.
So that's who
That's
we were talking to. And it's just like such a cool story.
I'm just thrilled that you remembered how much I love the Oilers, Leanne. That's actually really cool too. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. But yeah, that was just one of the things, right? And it's just the skates, how cool is that? Like that's coming to the 108.
Now, if we're able to get that house to the 108, I would totally be friends with Rusty. Him and I would totally get along. I'm going to walk in there with my Oilers jersey on.
You'll get some interactions, I'm sure.
I guarantee I would. I totally
Yeah.
guarantee I would.
Look at all the
You-
Canadians talking about hockey
Yeah.
ghosts.
Right? Wow. That's awesome. That is awesome. One location that you guys need to try and do is the Montreal Forum. Speaking of hockey,
That would be cool.
because a number of years ago, like if we go through hockey history, the Americans are going to laugh because they're on a roll right now with winning in the Olympics and then the Paralympics. But since Since Gary Bettman took over the NHL in 1993, a Canadian team has not won the Stanley Cup. And the last team to do it was the Montreal Canadiens in their final year at the Montreal Forum. And a number of years ago, a paranormal team based out of Quebec in Montreal actually tried to have a seance to move the spirits of the former Habs players into the Bell Center where they play now. And some believe it didn't work, that the spirits are still upset that the Montreal Forum is still their home, and that since they moved, they'll never win a Stanley Cup. And some people believe it's caused a curse on Canadian teams.
That's a curse I would love to be a part of breaking.
Yes,
be
because
neat, yeah.
1994 is still stuck in my memory.
Yeah,
And 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
But
don't
yeah,
talk
there's
about
definitely
that.
That's a cool story. Yeah, no, that'd be a good one for sure.
Now, Merle, you were saying that there was a little bit of a scary moment at the house when you were investigating there.
There were a handful of scary moments. I did a deep dive on if there's been any paranormal interactions, any ghost stories. Obviously, I want to know a little bit before we get to the location. And when we were having a little meeting before we investigated, kind of like a get to know session, I had my little book out, and I had written down all of the interactions. And then we chose not to talk about them. But the night we did the walkthrough night one, and I believe it was night one where there was somebody passed away. Her name was Lil. She was a shop owner there, and she died of a heart attack behind the counter. And one of the ghost stories is when you're behind the counter, you kind of feel like someone gets right in your face and in your space, not aggressively or mean, but more or less probably why you're behind my counter. And that happened to, I think it was you, Leanne, right? Was it you or yeah.
And she said, "Go walk behind the counter." And I went, and I don't know what I said. I'd have to look back, but I think I just said, "I have to leave this space. Like, this is somebody's space here."
I think at one point all three of us were back there and we all felt like someone was right behind us at one point, and we're like, we got to get out of here. Like, we shouldn't be here. Yeah.
That's where she had her heart attack. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know when we were filming, I know Katie was taking photos and stuff, and she said she heard knocks there as well.
Interesting.
And another one of the ghost stories. This is where the activity. This was our first encounter with some activity there. Really on our investigation was we kind of just started. You'd put your music box. The music box they put on the ground is an IR sensor. So if there's any shadow figure, any person, any motion, it goes off. And it was in a corner where nobody was. And it started to go off. It wouldn't stop. And then, Karen, I think you said that there's somebody back there because of the noise. But was it you? Someone saw a shadow figure, full dark shadow.
Yeah, that was me. It literally popped out right beside the music box, and then I could see it kind of moving behind the rest of the shelving. I had a feeling it was one of the brothers that had passed away, a younger brother. But yeah, it was clear as day. I went running after it, and yeah, the music box stopped when I got back there, and then it was gone.
And I think Kelly heard a voice at the same time, or something happened.
We heard a handful of audible voices while we were investigating, and it wasn't ours because I think there's a couple male voices, and another time was when we were up the stairs where all the hockey skates were. Corinne saw like a mist go across the counter or behind the counter.
Yeah, as I was sitting on the floor terrified from my adventure up those stairs, I was like in my head, I was trying to figure out how I was going to get back down. And as I'm watching the stairs, like, oh my God, I got to leave. I look up and there's like this like white mist just walking behind the counter, and then it would just fade away. And I was like, did I just see that? And I remember I grabbed Kelly. I'm like, something's moving down there. And then you guys were like, what's happening? I'm like, there's something moving, and I'm going.
I felt like, yeah, there was like a pacing, like, you know, where the cashier register was, and you go in there and to the back, like that whole area, I just felt like there was something.
Yeah.
When you are having those experiences with, something that close, a shadow standing behind you or around you, or the voices that are coming out of nowhere. Are you seeing and hearing those audibly and visually, or obviously the shadow person you are, but with the voices, are you hearing them audibly, or is this on tape?
Audibly. This time it was audibly. I think correct me if I'm wrong, there were 3 or 4 times where we heard crystal clear voices.
Yeah, and even Jeff too. And I don't know if he was marking it on the camera somehow, but he was taking note of the times. I think he heard it.
Because it was might have even been more than that. It was quite surprising how many times we heard those voices in the room with us. It was incredible.
And the light, you had the light that was responding to us as well.
Oh, the spirit candle.
Oh,
So
yeah.
for our audience, it looks like a candle, and it's a light where a ghost can mimic the EMF to turn it off and on, kind of like a yes/no device. And when Roger came back, when we were talking, was it Larry, his brother, we were talking to?
Yeah.
And we said, if Larry's here, can you blow out the candle for Roger? And boom, it went off. That's what it was, I believe. And it was the place was extremely active, Dave.
Love it. Speaking of active, our audience is pretty active tonight. Let's get to some audience questions here. Going back to the 153-mile store, T-Bone wants to know, that the medicine bottles were still, unopened. What kind of medicine were they using back then?
Pepto-Bismol from 1968.
Special elixirs.
Yeah, elixirs. They had those old Vicks sticks. There's so much. I mean, it's so cool, the packaging on that stuff with the old bottles and all the different names.
I remember I was sitting kind of by the music box at one point, and I'm like, oh, look, acetaminophen. There's just so much random stuff.
Yeah, in the middle of an investigation, Green's like, acetaminophen.
There was pre-1963 Heinz 57 barbecue sauce in the basement with the
Wow.
cork lid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of random bottles and medicines, and I think there's a fig elixir. It was some interesting stuff.
The old dog treats.
Mm.
Yeah, there was lots of
Meaties.
fun stuff. Meaties, yeah.
I know our radio audience won't be able to see this. I'm just going to change topics for a quick second. You guys investigated the barn at the 108 Heritage Site. I still have the bottle.
Oh, no way.
From when we did it?
From when you guys gave the
Wow.
That was our peace offering for the ghost day.
Yeah.
I'm glad you took it.
You guys gave it to me, so that's why I took it. But yeah, it's
awesome.
still sitting here in studio.
That's so cool.
Hilarious.
That's a piece of history one day.
Yeah.
Maybe. Let's go to another question. Let's go to Candace here. Let me ask, do you tell the spirit world you have certain hours they can bug you, aka communicate with you, Corinne? That's definitely something to think about with hitchhikers being real.
Yeah. It's funny. It's a great question. I think for myself, it can be overwhelming and it can be 24/7. But I think I've grown up, and most of my life I've been able to just turn it off and shut it down and not focus on it. So I have no problem shutting it down. Usually it's very rare. If I'm in my house at home, it's a no-go zone. Do not bother me. I have my, my boundaries up. It's my own space. I don't want you here. But there are times that there are things that are just, until I acknowledge it, it doesn't leave me alone. There's been times where there's been a spirit that really wanted to connect with someone. I didn't know who it was, and it was constant. So I eventually had to acknowledge it. And it turns out it's a neighbor's deceased loved one or someone I know at work or something like that. So most of the time I can turn it off, but it's definitely exhausting. It can be overwhelming, and I know that it drains your energy. So you have to be grounded. You have to have your own boundaries up, because it can happen most of the time. It just happens when it happens, but I'm pretty good at tuning out if I have to, if that makes sense.
All right, let's get to another audience question here. Kelly or Leanne, have you seen the commercial Destination Haunted where Dave says this is not a happy place?
Yeah. That's talking about Haunted Gold Rush, right? Yeah. Dave's is one of the stars of that documentary.
Oh, you guys totally were the stars. I just showed up.
Yeah. No, I have seen it. I love it. I love that they included you in that. That was a really special thing because that was our first, we were on the road for 7 or 8 days straight, investigating every single night, not sleeping, investigating again, not sleeping, and just going from like place to place on the Gold Rush Trail. So that will always be one of my favorite things we did.
And then coming to the barn when we're exhausted, you're like, this is not a happy place. I'm like, oh, good. We're like, let's go in right now.
But
The
it actually
barn-
was.
It was great.
Yeah.
The barn is so hit and miss. It could be the upstairs and the downstairs are completely different energy floors.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's so weird. T-Bone is asking to any of you three, Merle, we'll start with you on this one. Have you ever had attachment problems?
A few times, yes, I have. I felt that H word that we talked about earlier was one, but I don't feel it is or was. Got one from the ranch a handful of years ago, but that was since removed. I think it can happen. I think when we are in paranormal investigating, there's no color ID in what we do at the end of the day. We can be talking to someone or something, and maybe they want to come home with us or follow us and whatnot, but you have to be very mindful when you do it.
And how about for you, Leanne? How does it work for you with attachments?
I've only ever had one, and the weird thing is I didn't even know. It was other people telling me.
That's how you find out.
Yeah, and it was actually I think it was because I was so exhausted at the end of Gold Rush and I had to race home and do a bunch of stuff. And when I hit my general store, the person working there said, "You look different," and I was like, "Okay, thanks." And then I went home and somebody else said, "You look different." And then that night, I'll throw my husband under the bus. He had some crazy night terrors and then asked me like, "What did you bring home?" which is so out of character for him. So it was like the one time and then I dealt with it. But I think it's just because I was so tired and I didn't say, "Please stay here." Like I didn't set any boundaries after that.
Wait until the aliens start showing up. They don't care.
Yeah.
Now that you're getting into the UFO world with Chris Rakowski, Leanne,
Yeah.
it's going to be a little bit more.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for that for sure.
Yeah, for me, it's been strange because I don't know. Like for me, I've never not had spirit energy around me since I was like 3 years old. So I don't know if they're attached or they're just hanging out or they're just here. So I've never had anything negative, knock on something. But yeah, usually I'm pretty good at once I say a message, they're gone. Like once I connect and acknowledge them and say what I have to, they leave. But I don't know if that's an attachment. I'm not sure. Luckily.
I got to ask you too, because you're sisters.
Yeah.
Okay. Leanne, you don't have the same connection as Corinne does to the spirit world? Or you just
I'm
don't?
not. No, she's very unique in what she does. I have a lot of, it's like the knowing and intuition, which is, like I'm drawn to certain things and it somehow is tied to the story of what we're talking about. I also have really crazy predictive dreams, which don't come across in the show because it has nothing to do with, what
Yes.
we're talking about. But we're definitely like, we both have stuff, but it's different, which complements each other in a way too.
Yeah, and even Kelly, she has a unique skill set too. And the combination of the three of us, I think, really works because between the three of us, we somehow figure things out. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's like you bring all your tools to the table. I mean, there's a lot of focus on Korean because it's incredible. But like we do try to like break off too. So Kelly and I will go and like sense out a room and it's like putting a puzzle piece together.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That is really cool. We got about 5 minutes to go before we have to say goodnight to this crew and get ready for hour 3. Our main man, Paranormal Wise, Merle, is here from Ghosts of the Great White North and the Paranormal Road Trippers. Our special guest tonight, Leanne and Corinne from Beyond the Haunting. Now, what's up next for you guys? Merle, let's start with you.
What do I have? I have Powell River. I have two investigations in Powell River. I'm doing going to investigate and film at a 1911 theater, and then I'm doing my weekend event. 1 bedroom left at the old courthouse inn. It's a whole weekend of investigating, food, and staying at a really haunted inn. So that's what's going on.
And Leanne and Corinne, where's the paranormal taking you next?
Excellent question.
We're like literally working on that right now. And our dream is another road trip style thing like Gold Rush. So we're putting together some itineraries of what that could be and how we would get that out there. But we're also like the three of us are very spread out in the province. So BC is very big. Kelly's 8 hours north of Crane. So like we're trying to figure out schedules and what's going on. But there's definitely momentum here.
Yeah.
Is there a part 2 Gold Rush coming up?
No, just the 153 store is like our Gold Rush thing, but a road trip style adventure with the three of us. I mean, sisters and best friends.
Yeah.
It's quite funny, like when we're on the road together and then incorporating all the paranormal stuff. So we're excited.
You need a bus. You need one
Maybe.
of those. That's what you need. You need a bus where you guys are, have it painted up with your faces all over it.
Oh my God, no.
Or the opposite of that.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Or just put a picture of Merle up there.
I know. I wanted to like reach out to Cruise Canada to sponsor us or something.
Well, and right now I know people keep asking, what's next, and we are working on things, and sorry we can't share more right now. But our episodes of History's Most Haunted, and which is now rebranded Destination Haunted, are still airing on T&E, on APTN. I'm pretty sure they're on YouTube.
Actually, on Haunt TV's YouTube page, most of our episodes are there now.
Yeah, and they're airing in like Australia, the UK, the US, or it's all over. So I know our stuff is still out there, and I know people are asking for more. So patience, thank you, and we're working on stuff. So fingers crossed.
It is a competitive market out there, but you ladies have done such a great job in getting yourselves out there and being part of a great community of paranormal. And I cannot wait to have you guys speak at Caribou Con. I really can't. And the fact that you guys, are going to do that in your hometown here, Leanne, for you and be a part of that. I'm so excited about it. I really am.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, I love where all of this is going in BC and the Caribou. So yeah.
We got to keep it going.
Yeah,
and it's so hard to believe that there is no paranormal conferences in Canada.
Yeah.
Well, there's like Thunder Bay and I think Halifax. Are those the only two?
Yeah.
Lake Superior Paracon and the Halifax PP
There was
or whatever, yeah.
There was just a Sasquatch, or there's a coming Sasquatch conference in Ottawa, of all places.
Wow.
There is the UFO conference in Shag Harbor, Nova Scotia. And then a couple of paranormal conferences in Ottawa. But I don't believe there's any paranormal conferences east of Ontario or west of Ontario. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Well, there you go, Caribou Con.
I could be wrong on that. I really don't know.
There might be an alien one in Alberta this July. I think Chris told me about something, but we'd have to ask him.
Cool.
I have to get him on. Yeah, I think there is one coming up in Alberta, but it's such a rare feat. It is such a rare feat to have people talking about this. But you know what? At least we got some good people like you guys, Merle. Well, maybe Merle and myself. Hopefully, putting this together to make it an annual tourism event, and a great event it is, because the weather in the Caribou is usually beautiful in September with no rain, maybe snow. But no rain. So Merle, quick shout out, where can people find your work?
The Instagram, the Paranormal Road Trippers, YouTube, the Paranormal Road Trippers and Ghostly Activities, and Facebook, the Paranormal Road Trippers, and the paranormalroadtrippers.com.
I love it. And Leanne and Corinne, where can people find your work again? I know you mentioned the TV portion, but online, where can they find you?
We're mainly on Instagram and Facebook at Beyond the Haunting, and then beyondthehaunting.ca has all of our stuff. I just put some of the episodes on there as well. So all of Gold Rush is actually on our website.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Now people can see my ugly mug on there. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to say goodnight to Merle, Leanne, and Corinne. What a great paranormal show. And that leads us going into the third hour of Spaced Out Radio, where we're going to get into a little bit of Bigfoot. We're going to get into some UFOs, and filling in for Terry Hall on the Weird News of the Week will be Grant Baker coming on up. Hour 3 of the big show. is next. Stay tuned, everybody.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we are clear. Great job, everyone.
Thanks
Great
for coming
job.
on, guys.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah, that was fun.
You know, you guys, I was really hoping that you two would have came in studio tonight. I told Merle. So tell him to come in studio.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
this worked out too. I mean, it's nice you have all your big background there and stuff. Not us.
Yeah. Not Leanne sitting right behind your shoulder.
That was fun, though. That was fun.
It was. And thank you, everybody. I see some comments. You're most welcome. And thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, that was fun.
You guys
Dave,
have a great...
Spaced Out Radio is like part of our original, like it's history, right?
We're doing it together. Merle, thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.
All right.
Good
Thanks.
night.
Let's talk
care.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. We'll be right back, everybody. Let me put this up. Hold on. Oh, get up there. There you go. right. Let's get rid of that. Let's bring in little Granty Baker. There he is, filling in. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing, brother?
I'm good.
I had to pause my show. Darn it.
Swamp Dweller will be about 2.5 minutes.
Oh, you're good.
Right.
That's a small swamp dweller.
Get a couple of weird stories here for us, too.
Oh, goody, goody. Well, I'm so interesting. I'm watching a guy break down a old air-cooled VW engine, so I could. I've never broke one down before. That way, I can teach myself how to work on one.
Right on. All right. We got about 15 seconds. Thank you to our super chatters, Kitty, T-Bone, and Little Cam. We appreciate it. If you haven't already, give us a thumbs up. It helps with our algorithms on YouTube, and we'd really appreciate it. And hit subscribe. Here we go, everybody. Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. We always appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. We have Swamp Dweller and Grant Baker coming up, filling in for Terry on the weird news of the week. We're also going to get to a couple UFO and Bigfoot stories as well. And let us say hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network, our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Galimatius. Galimatius is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. I have always had a very deep respect for native spirituality, and in all my learning about different traditions and important figures, I never thought I could ever meet a piece of it. I did not even think it was a possibility that these animals were shapeshifters of any sort until I recently was telling my brother about it, and he told me that it might be true. I grew up in the central mountains of Idaho, in between several big mining towns from the late 1800s. Living here most of my life, I know what the wildlife looks like, and I know what I would see in each time of year, except for a few encounters that I still cannot explain. I was out early with my dad and grandpa to go and find scrap piles of wood. It was sometime around 7 or 8 in the morning, and we are on a tiny dirt path miles away from any houses. As we are driving, we turn a corner to see an animal sitting in the middle of the road. I would say that it was about the size of a large dog, but hunched close to the ground and completely black. It had a long tail that dragged on the ground, and when we pulled up to it, it turned to look at us. It had a small head with either small ears or no ears at all. I could not really make out anything specific. After it saw us, it hopped off the trail and into the bushes on the side of the road. Believe me when I tell you this, I have never, in my entire life, seen an animal that looked like this. We were all visibly confused. One other time, I was out riding my ATV at around sunset. I was by myself on some trails that I knew well. I decided to explore a bit and took a different path, and suddenly, it started to go up a steep hill with lots of washouts. As I stopped to try and turn around, the scariest looking bird I have ever seen ran in front of me across the trail. Now, there are a lot of wild chickens, turkeys, etc., but this was about the size of a chicken, but it almost appears as if its body was backward or if it was standing straight up. It looked very skinny, just not like a bird at all. I could not see any visible wings, but but it had a longer neck, and its head was bare like a turkey's or a vulture's might. I finished turning around and sped back home. I do not know terribly much about the tribes that would have inhabited this area before the gold rush, but I do know that a lot of violence and death happened because of it, with the historical cemetery having over 100 unmarked graves. If anyone might be able to confirm or deny my theory, I would really appreciate it. I don't know if it was a skinwalker that I saw, but it seems very close in the shape-shifting ways.
Thank you, Swamp Dweller, for another creepy story. If you want more just like that, head on over to YouTube, type in Swamp Dweller, hit subscribe, ring that bell as Swamp Dweller kicks off the third hour of this show each and every night. We appreciate him for that as well. Time for Grant Baker.
Staring at the stars tonight, signal shining in the sky. Grant's got the stories breaking through. What's hidden now comes into view. From distant lights to secret files, mystery stretched for miles and miles. Latest news, the truth revealed. Every signal slowly peeled. So tune in close, don't miss the facts. UFO Max, we've got your back. Spaced Out Radio, all night long, where the unknown becomes a song.
All right, Grant Baker, it's always good to have you here. Thank you filling in for Terry tonight. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure, my man. It's good seeing you again so soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always look forward to when you're on the show. Now, we got a little bit of an update because, the Bigfoot world has been going absolutely crazy since this documentary called Catching Bigfoot has come out at the South by Southwest Documentary and TV Festival down in Texas. And of course, the big news coming out of that is the Patterson Gimlin film from 1967, where the creator of this documentary believes he has new 16 millimeter footage, the same footage camera film that they rolled on the Patterson Gimlin film in Bluff Creek, California, saying that this really, really makes it wonder if whether or not the Patterson Gimlin film was a hoax and a costume created by somebody else. And they even got the person who allegedly played the Sasquatch in the film coming out and saying, yeah, it was me. I was that guy and all of that. So it's a little bit interesting. And yet the Bigfoot world has been rocked by it. What's your thoughts first and foremost?
Oh, goodness. I want to see it first. I want to see the real, that new 16 millimeter or whatever it is film that he has. Evidently, it's supposed to be over half a minute long, 40 some odd seconds or somewhat. And I would really be interested in seeing that. The gentleman, I'm a diehard believer. Yeah, I've seen Bigfoot myself personally. And what I saw in that film is a little bit different. But at the same time, it's just like all of us. We all look a little bit different as well. And you would have to do some major convincing on my part, towards me, for me to really believe that, okay, maybe you did make this. And I think the smoking gun would be, where's the suit? Can you recreate it? Because if you can recreate it and actually have the exact same suit and show how you did the walk and everything, because the walk is one of the strangest things ever. We do not walk like that. And it's very difficult for us to mimic a walk that is, for lack of a better term, ape-like. And then that new AI source, which came out when all of this started becoming part of the buzz, is we had AI look at the film and say, no, this is something that's real. So I'm kind of on the fence at the moment with it. I'd like to see it, take away everything that I want to take away from it. And maybe there's truth, maybe there's not. But my heart says I believe the film.
Matt Moneymaker, who is the head of the BFRO, the Bigfoot Research Organization.
Yep.
He came out with a tweet about this on X. And, I don't agree a lot with the Bigfoot Research Organization. I've actually talked very very openly about that. But I thought he had an incredible take on this film. Okay. And I'm going to read this to you. He says, it was known at the time and since that time in the late 1960s that Roger Patterson was trying to make a documentary about the Bigfoot Sasquatch mystery when he and Bob Gimlin obtained their famous footage in 1967. They were from Washington State. The famous 67 Patterson footage was shot in Northern California. Most of the other stock footage was shot in Washington State. As with every other documentary and TV show about the Bigfoot subject, Rogers wanted to dramatize some Bigfoot encounters using a man in a cheap costume. His wife, Patricia, recalls the use of a cheap costume for this purpose. The long-lost reel that is being touted by these sleazy producers at South by Southwest is just footage of them using this costume, which Bigfoot researchers have known about for years. What this reel shows is obviously a cheap ape costume, nothing like the actual creature they got on camera in California. Because of that stark difference, these sleazy producers are trying to spin this cheap costume for dramatizations as a trial run for the eventual 1967 costume. The simple fact that no one has ever been able to duplicate the costume from the 67 footage with all of its anatomical peculiarities and massive size has shown sensible people for more than 50 years that this is not a costume. There have been several well-funded and well-staffed attempts to simulate what you see in the footage. All of those efforts failed quite clearly. National Geographic at one time touted this bogus Hieronymus costume story. He claims that he was the man in the costume. Then years later, aired an episode where the footage was examined with the most modern techniques and computer enhancement and measurement by analysis. That subsequent Nat Geo program revealed a foot anatomy on the Patterson creature that is plainly impossible to fake with a man in a costume. This latest film festival entry, called Capturing Bigfoot, is just one more ploy in a long parade of sleazy, deceptive productions since the 1990s that have repeated and repackaged long debunked claims because the ploy will still get some cultural traction riding on the enduring popularity of the Bigfoot mystery. It is just a cinematic form of clickbait. What's your thoughts on that, Grant?
I could not agree with that more. I could not agree with that more. And the fact that they found that in Northern California, that's, I used to live there. In fact, I live very close to there now. And that is a spot that I know for a fact is active with Bigfoot. And same with up where you live. I mean, the Pacific Northwest is loaded with them. And no, he's absolutely 100% correct. There have been people, I even think, and don't quote me on this, but I want to say there was a show, I almost want to say it was Mythbusters, but I'd have to look that up, that tried this, that tried to do the walk, tried to do the suit. And you can 100% tell that it was a suit. In the Gimlin film, you can't tell. And the walk, the way it moves, the way the skin wraps around muscle, it is, especially when they enhanced it, or not even enhanced it, what they did was they took frame by frame and they centered the Sasquatch in the middle of it. So everything moves around it, but you can just see it perfectly. And because the film was shaky, so they stabilized everything. That's all they did. And once you see the stabilized version of it, then you're like, okay, wait a minute. What is that? That is not natural. It might be natural, but it's not some man in a suit. And yeah, there's been plenty of people that have had experiences with Sasquatch that will say, yes, that's a real one.
I'm in the believer category as well, that this is real. And I haven't seen the documentary. Not many people have, because you have to have tickets to South by Southwest in order to see it. Okay. The thing that concerns me about it, and we always talk about credibility in this field, Grant. We talk about, credibility with UFOs. There's not a lot of good evidence about UFOs out there. Yes, we've seen some dots. Yes, we've seen some videos in the past that are very, to some convincing, even to myself. Okay, but we don't see a lot of alien videos that don't look CGI or AI. We don't see a lot of interaction. We're relying on people's stories. Okay, and stories are hard to prove. But with Sasquatch, it's the same way. And we see a lot of clickbait videos out there right now with this entire type of encounter. And what this has done is it's given a lot of fuel to a lot of people out there who are now saying, well, this proves it's not real. This latest hoax, they haven't even seen the movie because it's not officially released. Well, this obviously proves this is a hoax and there's no such thing as Sasquatch. Well, for those of us who have had encounters, and I've seen 3, you've seen yours. Okay. Many others have seen them as well. You cannot deny the fact that there is not 1 or 2 or 10 people running around North America alone into the wilderness in the middle of nowhere who are leaving footprints. Right? It doesn't happen that way. I mean, it's kind of like when, the skeptics all think crop circles have been debunked because 2 British drunks decided to go out there with a platform and a rope and flatten a bunch of wheat in a field. Right? So there is all of that. There is all of this kind of stuff happening. So I'm a believer in the field. Will I absolutely 100% watch it? Yes, I will. I want to see what they're talking about. But from what I have seen and the evidence that I've seen through my 2 Sasquatch spots, and then especially the interactions we've had at Flight 21, there is nothing more that could convince me that this creature isn't real.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. There's been friends of mine that go out and actively look, not only in Northern California, but on the Oregon coast as well. In fact, you know him, and he will find the teepees that they make, huge trees that have been purposely hung up among other trees, ripped out of the ground. And it's not like they fell. These things are lifted up off the ground and purposely went vertical, and all this cool stuff that's out there. The gifting sites that are out there, which I believe you have one as well. And the amount of people that I've talked to that believe in this, because based on the business that I own, I go out and I talk to people every day. And I always wear something, whether it's SOR or, a cryptid t-shirt, Bigfoot. I have a Bigfoot hat. I'm always wearing something like that. And that's what sparks the conversation. And I will tell you, a big percentage of people that I run into believe wholeheartedly that Sasquatch, and they all have a story. You can go over to Cave Junction, Oregon, and they have a little printing store there that is also a Sasquatch store. And they have casting, real molds of Sasquatch in foot impressions on the ground. They have a log that you can sign in there, which I am in there for anybody that wants to know. You can read it. And then they have a huge map where people can put a pin where they saw Sasquatch themselves. And the amount of pins that is on that thing, they ran out. And now people are starting to take one pin out of one area and put it in a different one for themselves. And so bring your own pin if you're going to put one in the map. But yes, the evidence is overwhelming. Not everybody can be wrong.
Nicole says it could be counterintelligence propaganda to raise the skeptical point of view before the extended version of the film and analysis of it gets released. That the Maccabees, like legendary scientist Bruce Maccabee and his wife Jan, were working on before Bruce passed away. That's an old rumor, but apparently it died on the vine as Bob Kvyat's project and when Bruce's health was failing. So there's something interesting about that as well. I mean, could this be, we're getting into the whole UFO realm? Throw on a little bit more tinfoil. Why not throw Bigfoot in there now?
Well, there's been a lot of talk in the past that I've talked about, you've talked about, you've had guests that talk about this, where Bigfoot might be one of the same with what we're seeing when it comes to UFO orbs. and unfortunately they call them UAPs. I hate that term, but they all might be part of the same phenomena that we're seeing. And I'm open-minded to that. Do I believe it? I don't know. I mean, I've seen both in different times of my life. Whereas when you watch a Bigfoot run away from you in the woods that was less than 25, 30 feet from you and physically melt. And my little kid brain, when I saw this, I wasn't real little, but I mean, I was 10 years old, and I could not understand how it did that. That is the exact same phenomena that we're seeing when we see orbs. You see them kind of come in and out of existence, and so they could be tied together. And you know what? Even if it's negative traction, people are going to see it for what it is. Well, at least the people that believe. And you're going to have the naysayers out there. Oh, this proves everything, and never watch a second of that video. And just because they don't want to believe, it's okay. Any what is it? Any media is good media, whether it be negative or positive, because it's still pushing the ball forward.
It really is. We got 3 minutes to go. We're going to change subjects here because in the UFO world, something weird broke today. I don't know if you saw this. The United States government acquired Aliens.gov.
What?
It's going to be a new website, Aliens.gov. And
Nice.
apparently, this is all over. This is all over the wire. New York Post is covering this as well, and that they apparently have acquired this. Now, nobody's really made a comment on why they acquired aliens.gov, but the theory that we are looking at here is that it could be because that's maybe where they're going to put the UFO files that they are going to release. So that, of course, is speculation. We never know until it happens, but it really is something kind of interesting. What do you think about aliens.gov?
I love that. I absolutely love that. I cannot wait to actually, as soon as we take a break, I'm diving in real quick to go check that out. Is it operable? Is it
No.
up and okay?
No. So when you type in aliens.gov, you actually get this site cannot be reached. Check if there is a typo in aliens.gov. So it's not active yet. They've just bought the
Domain.
website handle for it or the domain name.
That's awesome.
But you have to wonder, is this something that we're going to have to watch? Maybe this is where they're going to gather all the UFO files or the UAP files or anything like that. Now, a lot of people will sit there and say, Grant, it's not that big of a story. So what? They grabbed a domain name. What's the big deal? Well, in the UFO world, anything that is tied to what we do or what we talk about, it's like, Shohei Ohtani hitting a grand slam home run in the World Series, especially against my New York Yankees. I don't like that. Oh, that was a terrible analogy. But nonetheless, it's happened. And what we need to do is think that we in the UFO world, we work on morsels like crumbs. Okay, we're not working with a full steak here. We're going after that little piece of gristle that you've already cut off the steak and put on the side that you don't want to chew on for the next 25 minutes. Okay, that's literally what we're working on. And it really is interesting that this could be the place where everything is gathered. When they're going to start posting, we don't know. What are they going to post? If anything, we don't know. That's the only answer we have is a website domain being made, and we're all going crazy over it. Like, oh my God, this is actually happening. Grant, we're going to talk about this, and we are going to get to some weird news of the week. Grant Baker filling in for Terry Hall on the weird news of the week. We always appreciate when Grant's on the air.
This is Spaced Out Radio and your host, Dave Scott.
All right, buddy, we're clear.
Dude, that's
Hey, dude.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It totally is. Totally is awesome. Awesome. Is anyone familiar with Nissan? Yeah, it's a car bake.
Ugh. My nemesis cars. Ugh. You know, it's funny being in the car world, like both of us are. I did the sales side for a long time, but I'm primarily a mechanic, and Nissan are just when one pulls in, it's a nose goes. I'm like, someone else work on it, man. I'm good. And usually it's a transmission. That's just usually what it is.
Kias too.
Oh yeah, got that CTV or CVT transmission. Those things are just horrendous. Smaller cars, Ford, Chevy, everybody's got them now. Nissan just hasn't figured it out on how to make them work a little better than normal.
So what are you buying next for a vehicle? You look like you should get an El Camino.
I had a 70 El Camino. Yeah, I got rid of that. And then, so I just bought an 04 Yukon XL, one of the big bad boys, with an 8.1 in it. So 4 kids, and I said, well, I'll buy something that can tow as well. So finding a 2500 Yukon is very difficult. And I could buy one with a 350 in it, a V8, for $3,000 to $5,000, no problem. I had to pay $12,700 for that stinking thing just because of what it is. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I bought it anyway. I was like, whatever. I liked it. Now my wife drives it more than I do. So my next purchase, which is coming up here in the next, I've been trying this whole week. I'm looking for a Volkswagen Beetle, an air-cooled one for my daughter. That's what she wants.
Nice.
No. And because of that, I'm looking for a van myself, a Westfalia.
I am looking my next vehicle. I'm waiting for them to come down in price.
Mm-hmm.
My next vehicle, and I've been a Jeep Wrangler guy for years.
Yeah, I got one.
I love my Jeep Wrangler. I do. It takes me anywhere.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, after driving a new Bronco, it is like going from literally a Jeep to a fine ride that is very smooth on a lot of bumps.
So you're talking about the bigger one, not the one with the 3-cylinder, correct?
Well, they come in a 2.3, they come in a 2.7, and the Raptor comes in a 3.0.
Yeah. Yeah, because they got the 2 different sizes of the Broncos. They had those
Well,
little
you got
bitty
the
ones.
Bronco Sport.
Yeah, those are nice.
I'm talking the full-size Bronco.
Good man. Yeah, those are nice.
They are so comfortable. And you don't even, like in a Jeep, you feel every bump and it throws you. And that's part of the Jeep experience.
Yeah.
You know, is that rigid suspension. But the Bronco, you don't feel anything.
No. Yeah, I've driven a couple of them. They're nice. The Jeep, in fact, right now, my daughter asked me for it. So I gave it to her and I put her name on it. And that we found out she was too short to reach the pedals because it's a stick. And she is adamant. She wants a manual transmission car as her first car.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And she's like, I want your old Beetle because I used to have one, but one of my buddies wanted it. So I sold it to him for his daughter. She never said anything. So I didn't know that she wanted it. And now she's like, well, I wanted the Beetle because I could reach the pedals. I'm like, oh, crap, man. Now I got to. So I said, well, what do you want to do with the Jeep? She's like, well, can we trade it? So I posted it up for trade and I've gotten many replies on trading for a Beetle. I just haven't found one. I found one that I like, and the lady's kind of on the fence with it. So I'm working on her.
Yep. Fap says Dave is going to settle on a used Miata convertible. Well, my friend, we all know that you've got the shit-colored brown Pinto that you're afraid to even have the garage door touch the back bumper on it. Right?
What are these out?
Little 4-speed right there. 4-speed automatic. You'd look good in a Pinto, Fap.
Or
20
years ago.
seconds. Don't forget to shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out. Thank you to our super chatters tonight, Little Cam, T-Bone, and Kitty Catty Whack. We always appreciate it. And here we go in 5 seconds. Final half hour of Spaced Out Radio. We got Grant Baker here for the weird news of the week. My name is Dave Scott. Glad so much that you are with us. You make it so much more fun when we talk about the weird and strange things each and every night. Hey, we are going to get right back into this weird story that the United States government has made up. Aliens.gov. That's their new website, aliens.gov. Now, it's just the purchase of a domain name. They haven't really set it up yet. There is no website. So if you go there, you're not going to see anything. And a lot of people will say, oh, this is bogus. This really doesn't mean anything. However, it isn't bogus. They actually bought the domain name, aliens.gov. And I was thinking during the break here, my friend, okay, the government has always been very, very disinterested in aliens. Okay. Yes, a couple years ago, the NHI term came out, non-human intelligence. You know, they switched UFOs to UAP because UFOs didn't bring credibility to the subject, allegedly. Then we found out later on that it was to cover man-made objects. So why do you think, just out of curiosity, that they went and picked up aliens.gov? I mean, it doesn't make sense to their pattern.
Well, I mean, right now we're dealing with a time where a lot of things are just going to start coming out. You have a lot of people naming dates, which I hate doing. You have everybody's looking towards the skies. It's getting to the point where it's almost imminent that disclosure has to happen. And why not prepare for it? You know, aliens.gov. Well, I mean, it's either a portal for them to drop a whole bunch of information or drip it like they're tending to do, or maybe another alien race is going to use it and say, hey, and use it as their Pinterest. Who knows?
And look, the simple answer of it all is we may be blowing this way out of proportion. The simple answer of it all is maybe they just want to quickly buy it so that nobody else does and tries to make a profit off of it, because it is kind of an attractive name, aliens.gov, you know? And I just look at it like, my goodness, you've tried over the last 9 years. Hard to believe it's 9 years ago since the To the Stars Academy came out. Okay. 9 years. You've pushed this UAP crap. You've pushed this NHI crap. You've pushed all of this change of acronym in our beloved subject. You've caused arguments between people because of it. You've caused people to go absolutely haywire because, you know, what are you doing arguing semantics? Doesn't mean anything. Well, it does mean something, you know, and obviously sometimes chaos is something that the government propagandists do every now and again when they want to get to a topic. But the one thing that they've all stayed away from, even in the congressional hearings, is aliens. You might hear the odd extraterrestrial, but it's all non-human intelligence. So the fact that they bought or were about to potentially build aliens.gov, maybe I'm reading into it a little bit too much, Grant, because I love this subject a little too much, or maybe there's something to it.
Well, there might be actually something to it. I mean, the government doesn't do anything like this. Well, they've never done anything like this before. They've created websites, and usually to buy a domain names that nobody else can buy, I can go out and buy aliens.com if it's not already in use, which it probably is. Because not a lot of civilians like you or me are going to buy a domain with a .gov and behind it, unless we're part of some government, And so I think having them buy it because they're trying to keep it away from somebody else, that might be a moot point, but it's very interesting that they even bought it in the first place, or even looking at building something like that, because you have, all these hearings that we've been watching on TV and listening to it for the last few years, when you have people like Rush and Knapp show up, and even Commander David Fravor and others that have been on there, you know, it's getting to the point where the drip is starting to drip a little faster. We're getting to a dribble now. And to me, it just looks like a preparation. I think they're preparing. And, it's just another drip in the bucket for them. Oh, look, we're going to do this. And it's going to blow people's minds. And they're notorious for doing one thing and having you focus on that to get something else done somewhere else. When it comes to the United States government, they're notorious for doing that. And living here, once I see something like this, which is great, I'm going to look into it, obviously, but now I'm going to be focusing on other spots and seeing what else they're trying to do.
You're very right. You're very right. On the Weaponized podcast, this will be our final UFO story tonight with George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell. They had whistleblower Matt Brown on there, who talks about forming a whistleblower nonprofit, basically saying that he believes that those who are critiquing the whistleblowers are psyops put out there by the government in order to try and discredit them, discredit their military credentials, discredit absolutely everything that goes along with it. And he feels that there needs to be some sort of whistleblower protection where the whistleblowers can all get together and kind of build a game plan, and that they have to be careful with who they talk to and who they're with. And all I'm thinking, as I was listening to clips of this earlier, Grant, they're already doing that. What do we need another nonprofit for? No offense to Matt Brown. I would love to have him on the show. I would love to talk to him and get his perspective and point of view. But one of the things that I'm working on behind the scenes, Grant, is I have heard, and once again, I haven't confirmed. I have not confirmed. As a journalist, I like to do three things. Number one, if I hear something, it's a rumor. If I hear it twice, it's got legs. If I get a third source on it, we got a story. And I'm at stage 2 of this. Okay. But from the rumors that I have heard, a lot of these whistleblowers are told who they can and cannot talk to. Okay. And with that being said, here they are blaming all the other people who are saying that all these people are out to get them. Well, I don't agree with anybody attacking them. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not on X, because X has become just a war zone. Not to use that. I use that term very lightly with what's going on in the world, but X has become a verbal war zone for anybody. If I was a whistleblower, I wouldn't go on X. It's the worst place to try and argue your point. But that being said, I have heard rumors, and I'm going to call them rumors right now because it's not confirmed, that a lot of these whistleblowers are being told who they can and cannot share their stories with. And when you are holding out that you're only allowed to talk to certain people, usually with bigger YouTube channels, it makes it a little bit more interesting for the rest of us who are trying to get the information out there, but all they're looking at is the subscriber numbers. They're not looking at the actual people listening. We got a big show. We may not show it on YouTube, but our 8 radio stations combine us for a couple 100,000 people who listen to this show nightly. And your thoughts on this, Grant?
Yeah, when they're told that they can't speak to a certain show, i.e. ours or somebody else's, just because they don't have the numbers, it brings me back to the basis of what a whistleblower is. What is a whistleblower?
Let me correct you on something there. It's not just about the numbers. It's about control of who they can talk to about the narrative.
Exactly. So let's say I'm a whistleblower. If I'm gonna go out and say this is what's going on, it's whether I'm protected or not. And I think a lot of them, with the fear of losing their jobs and the fear of, public ridicule and humiliation and their families being hurt, their pensions being taken, etc. They're taking a risk. But then once they do go public, they're told where to go. Well, that's not a whistleblower in its true sense. A whistleblower should be somebody just like what Bob Lazar did back in the 80s. I'm going to go to George Knapp and blow this out of the water. And back then, everybody was like, what the heck is this dude doing? And there's been multiple videos on the guy. Be a real whistleblower. If there's a dude that's living in Russia right now, and I don't want to say his name, but, he's hiding out over there because of him actually doing exactly that, being a real whistleblower and saying, this is what, the United States is doing against its people. And that's exactly what I think a whistleblower should be. And I've heard this from other people. And I think Ross Goldhart even said that as well. Don't do it by the numbers. Don't do it because you're being told who to tell. If you're a whistleblower, go out and just do it. Like especially when, Brown went on Weaponized, a few months back or a little over a year ago. And that was a very interesting 3-part show. And he just put it out there. That's what you need to do, is put it out there. And do we have the right to know about it? I believe we do. I believe as a human race, not just one country to another, but as the human race, if there's something out there that's visiting us, and it's been basically manned for many years of trying to figure out, why are we here? Are we alone in the universe? If you have those answers, we need to know. It's not going to tumble religions. We already found out by the Pope and the Vatican. It's not going to tumble down the religions. It's more or less, we as a people need to know.
Well, we're going to see what goes on here, my friend, because it is very interesting. Let's get to some weird stories of the night. We are going to start here, where an Arizonan man who was recently diagnosed with terminal cancer, sad, traveled thousands of miles to Alaska to try and kill his ex-wife, with cops saying he lurked outside a hair salon she owns and then opened fire on the woman when she attempted to go inside. The man then went and unalived her father before dying a day later. How creepy is this? Matthew Becker, a 61-year-old stand-up comedian and comedy club owner, was facing charges of first-degree murder and third-degree assault in connection with the Saturday attacks on his ex-wife and former father-in-law. During the shooting spree in Alaska, he was found dead a day later in the woods of Eagle River, according to the police. It's unclear how he died. His brother told local media in Alaska that he was recently diagnosed with a terminal cancer diagnosis, and that might have been it. So a criminal complaint obtained by the local NBC affiliate outlines the events heading up to the slaying. The woman reportedly called Anchorage police and reported that Becker had just tried to shoot her. Scary. Officers responded to the scene, but Becker had fled prior to their arrival. The ex-wife told police that she arrived at her hair salon and parked her car in front of the business. Becker was in a Nissan Altima parked directly next to her vehicle, and unfortunately, she wasn't hit. However, then, he went and took care of the father-in-law. So it's really weird and scary because this guy literally wanted to go out with vengeance, Grant. That's just freaky. Like, who does that?
That's pretty twisted. That's pretty dark. And to travel that far just for that's
sick in the head.
That's very sick in the head. There's a mental condition there that's not good. I mean, depression wouldn't even cover that.
Let's move on here. So apparently, sheriff's offices down in Florida around Daytona Beach thought there were a bunch of gunshots going off, but it wasn't gunshots. It was people crushing water bottles. Yeah, the plastic bottles. That's what they were doing. So the noise that sparked a massive panic and a stampede among spring breakers at Daytona Beach over this past weekend was not caused by gunshots as initially feared, but rather by the sound of people crushing their water bottles under their feet. Yeah. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office revealed that despite the chaotic scene that was captured on viral videos, the sheriff confirmed there were 0 gunshots on the beach and that 50 deputies were present in the crowd at the time. Why this matters? Well, the incident highlights the heightened sense of fear and anxiety that can grip large crowds, especially the aftermath of recent big-time pew-pew incidents. While no one was seriously injured, the stampede demonstrates that the potential for tragedy when panic spreads rapidly through a densely packaged public space. Yeah. So Sheriff Mike Chitwood, the panic-induced sounding was simply the result of people crushing water bottles. In total, 80 arrests were made over spring break. 6 weapons were seized, but none of them originated from the beach itself. The sheriff noted that in Florida, everyone can carry, which is likely contributed to the initial fears. 4 separate shootings were reported in the city since Friday, but none of them involve beach chaos. So now people are worried about water bottles. And, some of those water bottles, especially the real thin plastic ones that Nestle makes, I mean, you crunch those together, it does sound like a rapid fire pew-pew.
Yeah, I can understand that. Could you imagine now Florida state law is going to say no stomping on water bottles at the beach?
Bring back the thicker plastics. Let's get back to thicker plastics, And if you live in a state or a province like I do that has paper straws, I learned something. I will never, ever, because in BC here, we have paper straws. The most annoying thing in the world. You could go to a grocery store and have 95% of the product wrapped in some sort of plastic, but they make you buy those idiotic bags. That's for another day. And plastic straws are out because plastic straws are the issue, right? So in BC, here's my theory, my point on this. Have you tried using a paper straw on a McDonald's shake?
It doesn't work. It barely even works on a McDonald's soda pop.
It barely works on a shake. You now have to take the lid off and drink your shake like you're having a glass of scotch in order to enjoy your milkshake. And then you get when you have to tip it up a little bit, that big glob that hasn't melted yet pelts you in the face. And I'm a strawberry shake guy. So literally, I'm dodging my glasses and my beard and my mustache, trying to get this shake in my mouth. Because all I want to do is drink it, but I can't use the straw because the straw is literally paper thin. And by the way, McDonald's, if you're listening, let's start building cups that don't fold the second you grab them from the drive-through person. Okay, have you seen how thin their cups are getting now in order to cut costs? You go and grab it, you're like, oh, hey, thanks. And you grab it because you grab it because the person at the drive-through always seems to have their hand right in the middle of the cup. You ever notice that? They have their hand in the middle of the cup. They don't put it on the bottom where you can actually grip the cup properly. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to put my hand right in the middle of the cup so that way I can grab it. And now because there's that awkward transfer, you're going to squeeze harder on these cheap-ass paper cups that they are now using at all fast food restaurants just to save 18 cents, okay? And what are you going to get? A paper straw where you can't even drink a milkshake out of it. Dude, I see you laughing. Okay, but I'm right.
Yeah.
I'm right.
So
right?
McDonald's.
And you get the big glob of milkshake that hits you in the forehead, and you got this big pink or chocolate, stain on your forehead, like you're a bullseye now. that's now dripping down your glasses, okay, into your facial hair. And you're like, man, I didn't buy this just to, have to go wash my face after every sip. I'm telling you, these are first world problems that I'm done with. So now I love McDonald's milkshakes. Okay. My town just got its first McDonald's on December 19th, and I can't even have a milkshake. Lord knows you can't have an ice cream cone because they even installed a broken ice cream cone machine with every McDonald's you get. Right? But I can't enjoy a milkshake because of the stupid paper straws. It's ridiculous.
Oh, my cheeks hurt, dude.
I'm not wrong, though. My goodness.
You're not wrong. Oh, my goodness.
Please explain to me how we can have all of this plastic stuff in the grocery stores, or I go to Tim Hortons and I get an ice cap. It comes in a plastic cup with a plastic lid, but I have to drink it through a paper straw because the paper straw is the problem. And look, I feel sorry for the animals that are affected. I do. I love nature. But damn it, bring the plastic straw back. Bring it back. I want a bendy straw. I love the bendy straws. We got to get back to normal, and it starts with straws. And on that note, Grant, thank you for letting me rant.
You're more than welcome, man.
Enjoy a milkshake.
It's good seeing you, brother.
My goodness, I just want to enjoy a milkshake. For those of you who still live in the land of plastic straws, just know this Canadian is very envious of you. Very envious. As we say goodnight to Grant, paper straws, and the handout at the drive-thru, and say hello, Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, and the Space Travelers Club on X. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. So I learned something today.
What's that, bud?
I had a call from like our distributor for the show that goes on to all the podcasts. I had some questions. I'm like, how do we attract more listeners? How many attract more downloads? So that was one of my things. She goes, well, I'm looking at your logo. You got a beautiful logo, but it's boring. So she literally sent me a spiced up, spaced out radio logo that has iTunes and Spotify on it. Really cool. Okay. Really, really cool. And then she tells me, you need to start spicing up your programming a little bit. And I said, well, if I do all of my shows that are on there, if It's going to take a while. So now I have to change the logo and change the description and add more keywords to about 1,280 shows. I think I got 20 done.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. But the good part about it is I learned something because it is the importance of it all happening. Right. So just one of those things.
Well, as you were talking earlier, and that's good that she's willing to help out like that and get us more views. I mean, there's so many people out there that are interested in this, and I think all of us should have the views, and because I go out and watch other people too, you know.
Oh
But,
yeah.
I'm gonna make you really upset here in just a second. Really upset.
What are you
And,
doing?
yeah, your paper straw thing, your rant on paper straws. You
Oh.
know they come in a huge bag, a plastic bag.
Yeah. At one point, this is how dumb it got. Right around when, it was around the pandemic when things started getting a little foolish like this.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And I'm not going to get into the whole pandemic thing. I don't want to get into that. Starbucks was putting paper straws in plastic covers.
Yep.
That's how dumb we got, people. They were literally, until people started complaining, you take away the plastic straw to get to a paper straw, but you're putting it in a plastic cover.
Just
That's
be
how dumb
consistent.
we were getting.
Yeah, inconsistency at its best.
Right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. And I'm sorry to all of you who are brave enough and awesome enough and have the brain power to bring a metal straw with you. Good for you. I'm kind of jealous about that. I really am. Because I would always forget it. I would.
You need one of the little carrying cases that you keep it in
absolutely.
your Jeep.
It's like people bringing their own. I don't know. Okay, like here's another pet peeve of mine. One of the trendy things now is people bringing their own chopsticks to a Chinese food restaurant.
What?
Yeah. Now some of them are really cool because they've actually dressed them up like lightsabers. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'm not bringing my own utensils to a restaurant. Never.
Now, I do have. So we use a lot of chopsticks in my house, and we had the black plastic ones that you would find at the higher end, Asian cuisine restaurants, instead of just the little wooden ones that you break apart.
Yeah.
And so I bought some that were, I figured, I'll buy a 24 pack or whatever. And so I bought those, and the kids break them. So then I went out, and now I have a whole set. I can feed 12 people with stainless steel chopsticks that are hollow, so they're not heavy, and they got little knurled grippies on them, so you can really grip them. And they're amazing, but I would never take them to a restaurant. I'll use the wood ones. I don't care.
Nope, not doing it. Not doing it. It bugs me. It totally chaps me, dude. Chaps me big time.
Well, I'm going to buy you a straw, and it's going to be a stainless steel boba straw specifically for your milkshake.
Oh, man. Yeah, you would do that. You would do that.
I won't.
You are totally that guy right now.
You know I will.
You are totally that guy right now, and I don't like it. I don't like it a bit. Right?
They make a really cool assortment. You just got to tell me what color is your favorite color, and we'll have a scent.
It's blue or green.
Oh, good. That's probably the exact two colors I would have picked anyway.
Cannot stand you right now.
You wait until Amazon drops us a little package off at your door, and I'm gonna get a phone call. USOB. Oh man, that's good. That's gonna be the highlight of my week. I'm gonna do that as soon as we get off the air. Now I just got to remember what your address is. I think I still got it.
Hold on. I gotta do one more. Oh my God, if I could actually spell right now. There we go. All right. Almost done. I have to do a new procedure after every show now in order to hit them SEOs and algorithms. Because I'm an SEO and algorithm kind of guy now.
Yeah. So I have a question.
Yeah.
In the show notes, do you have to do hashtags?
Usually. You know what? It's really weird, but in the research we've done recently and people who I've talked to, hashtags really aren't pushing the YouTube algorithms anymore. It is all about title and thumbnail.
Oh,
And trigger words, like in your, like even like you could put a bunch of keywords in there and it doesn't matter.
really?
Yeah. The keywords will help a little bit, but they will not help in the overall. They used to, but now it's the problem that, from what I heard from a lot of creators now, especially on the YouTube side or the video side of everything, doesn't matter whether it's YouTube, TikTok, or whatever, it's the algorithms that are creating everything now.
Oh,
Yeah. And AI is looking for Sunny Sandu, how you doing? Thank you, buddy. AI is really doing all of the work on it.
gotcha. So we got to appease the AI gods.
Yeah. But AI is also, you can also have AI use favoritism because the channels that are already established and have been established for a number of years, right?
Yep.
So like, let's say, and I'm going to be a little grotesque here for a second, but let's say you wanted to start a channel about farting in public.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people who've already have 1 million plus subscribers doing that. The algorithm isn't going to hit you well. Right. Or unless you're doing big time production type interviews, like if you had the couch and you had, like, everybody's trying to do that copycat format now where you got the lounge couch and the table, like you're in somebody's living room, or in case of Sean Ryan, have a bar, you're in a bar somewhere.
Yep.
He has a beautiful studio, by the way. I mention him very fickly because I'm really jealous of how good his studio looks.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, he's been catching some heat lately, hasn't he?
Well, yeah. I have theories on that. And what the hell? Why do I always hold back? Okay. I'm always trying to be the good guy here and give something.
Doing it for more clicks?
No. This is good. It's going to sound like an egotistical comment. Okay. It really is. One of the issues that we have with podcasting is citizen journalism. Because and I say this as a former journalist, we cannot trust the mainstream media. Okay. You can trust them on the fluff stories like Fufu, the pet cat, who's 28 years old, just got a birthday cake of Meow Mix. You can trust that story. But the deep dives into stories and news anymore, it's very skewed and it's very slanted. And the problem that we have is people are now relying on citizen journalism in order to find out what's going on because it's immediate. It's very much happening. Like when there's something happening in the world, I don't go to Fox News or CNN or CBC or anybody like that anymore, because I don't know if I'm getting the correct story. I know I'm getting a politically slanted story. And I don't want that. I want the story. So what do I do? Like when the situation with Iran, when the situation with Iran started, I don't care if you agree or disagree. It's not the point of the conversation. I went to X to find out what was going on. Okay. I went to X, and it's sad that as somebody who is a former journalist, loves the field of journalism like I do, it's sad that it's become a lost art. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm having a very, very tough time with it. So when I see someone who is not a journalist getting in trouble for saying things that they should have vetted prior to the show, I'm not saying that journalists are perfect, because we're not. Okay. But there is a way of doing things. And I think with a lot of this citizen journalism today, whether it's Sean Ryan or whether it's everything, it's about how big of the name can we get on the topic. And for a lot of shows that have created big budgets because they've taken off and they get advertising, or they can fly in all of these people once, twice, 3 times a week, or if you're Joe Rogan, even more, into your studio on somebody else's dime, automatically we're giving them professional journalistic credibility. When they so I guess a lot of them will have a team, behind them and everything, but if you don't have real journalists working for you, even if you're the face of the franchise, you need to be able to at least have somebody there who can vet. Okay. And that's why I think we hold our audience to a higher level of critical thinking, because it is something that our audience is good at. They're good at critical thinking. They're good at not jumping on the bandwagon just because the feelings. Laura Dominguez, how are you? X is she says X is a reliable source. No, not at all. It's what is reliable about it, though, is when you see what's happening in real time from multiple different camera angles that people are filming, because people are filming more than ever today. Filming people's reactions. I mean, whether we like it or not, if we use, let's say, Iraq, for example, and I'm not telling you what side I'm on. That's none of your business, and it's none of my business what side you're on. Okay? But there was a lot of media outlets, including here in Canada, who were not telling the story about the people of Iran who were extremely happy about what is going on. Okay, especially after having 40,000 of their citizens slaughtered for no reason. Okay, now, once again, I'm not choosing sides. It's not my job as a journalist to choose sides. The job is, where is that really happening? I can't go on one of the news outlet sites because I'm going to get a political bias. Okay, if I go to say Fox News, it's going to be a political bias to the right on this story. If I go to CNN or something else that counters, it's going to be this is what's going on because Orange Man bad. Right? And so there's a political bias there as well. We're seeing it up here in Canada, where a former CBC journalist actually just came out to it would be like the equivalent of a congressional hearing on the CBC, which is our state run broadcaster. And in that, he literally exposed with the receipts to show it through emails and everything that certain political parties and party members in Canada were not allowed to come on political shows on the nation's broadcaster because they were affiliated with a party that the management didn't agree with. That's your mainstream media now. It's propagandists. When I was in journalism school, day one of journalism school, they literally taught us you don't take anything from anybody, not even if they offer you a water, because that will immediately show a bias to what you are doing. You're going to think, well, that person's nice. They gave me a water when I was thirsty and hot. Okay. And then if you have to write a scathing article about something they did was bad, or you have to report on something they did was bad, they're going to hold that water bottle against you. I took care of you when you were hot and thirsty, and this is how you treat me. It's the way it is, right? It's scary, man.
Truth. That is the truth. Well, brother, I'm going to get out of here. I can hear the baby crying.
You go. Have fun.
Thanks, brother. Talk to you
Later.
soon.
So, reminder to all of you, tomorrow night on the show, it's only going to be 2 hours with Mike Ricksecker. Okay. And the only reason why we are doing 2 hours is I have to, after that second hour, I have to make the 5-hour drive down to Vancouver because I have a flight to catch at 8:30 in the morning. And from there, I have to pass or go through the immigration department so that way I could get across the border, which has never been a problem for me, which I'm cool with. I'm nice people. I am nice people. So that's why I'm cutting the show an hour short, but we are going to do the interview. I was going to say, you know what, let's just skip Mike and we'll get him maybe next week or the week after, but I didn't do that because I wanted you guys to have a show tomorrow night. I believe Dirty Filth may be doing a show on the Friday night with you guys. So that way you guys have some fun. At least you got a place to hang out. So I'm about 95% sure that Dirty Filth is going to do that. So if you could, I would appreciate you guys showing on up, giving our dirty one some love there. Adventures with Beth, how are you? And Scott Free, welcome to SOR Chat. Thank you for your kind words. Beth, absolutely. I want to be able to make up my own mind. I'm an adult and can think on my own. Bingo. That is what journalism is supposed to be about, is allowing you to make a conscious decision with a point and counterpoint in each story. So that way you hear both sides of the ledger, and then you have the ability to say, yes, I agree with that. No, I do not agree with that. Absolutely. You're 100% correct. It's sad we've lost that. Dangerous that we've lost that. Thank you tonight to Lil Cam, T-Bone, and Kitty Cattywhack for our super chats. If you haven't already, do me the favor, and I want you to go and give us a thumbs up. It really helps with our algorithms, guys. And I'm going to ask another favor, if you don't mind. If you haven't already, head on over to the YouTube channel, Haunted 108. Haunted 108. YouTube.com/@ the @ symbol, @ the Haunted 108 is the website for my new YouTube channel. Okay. And that one is going to be for my new project, Haunted 108, here in the 108 Mile Ranch where I live. And what we want to do is have all of you hit subscribe there. It would help me out a lot as I build my new little paranormal business here in the community to help preserve our museum. So that would help me out too. And give me 2 seconds here. And to be honest with you, I love making the videos for you guys. I do. I love it. It's so much fun. And my boy and I have made the last couple together, which is really cool. It really is. So, yeah. Otherwise, thank you. Mike Rick Secker tomorrow night. We'll see you all then, everyone. And I absolutely appreciate you listening on in. Do me a favor again. I know I'm asking a lot tonight. Like, who is this guy? Just asking a ton of stuff like that. Okay, do me the favor if you don't mind. And head on over after this show. Leave a comment. After you give your thumbs up, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about how tonight's show was, talking paranormal with Merle and all of them. Have a great night, everybody. I love you, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.